I have a scenario for you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Imagine that you are given the opportunity to reset. Okay? Reset. But you also get to respec yourself. What are you putting your attributes into? What you're respecking yourself. What are you putting your points into?
Did not there was no prep for this question, but I'm glad you asked it. I'm going in classic what I do with every game. 100 I'm maxing out strength. Just maxing out strength. That's number 1. And then number 2 is always personality, whatever that is. I want to either be able to beat the person up,
like charm.
The charm. Yeah.
Charm, strength, and charm.
And then if there's anything left, I probably won't even spend it. Maybe some defense. It's all strength. Charm is second, and then the rest can go in the defense. But I want maxed out.
So
it costs me in every game I play because that's the stupidest.
So if we're let's lay the rules here. If you respec in a certain area, does this also reflect your physicality? So like, are you walking around like as a giant mass of muscle,
like a Machamp,
but also super charming?
It depends. Like if it forces me, because normally most games you can spec how you want, and yet your body type you could also pick that. So I'll stay like I want to be slim. Like the skinnier, the better, because it's funnier when you're strong. Like no one expects like the wiry beanpole to be able to throw 150 miles an hour fastball down the plate, but I want that. But if I have to be the incredible bulk, the strength comes first, but I would love to keep the skinny,
I'm putting intelligence.
Same.
Intelligence always beats strength.
All in intelligence.
All intelligence.
I can
outsmart the bronze.
I gotta go both. I gotta say that I'm putting everything into my intelligence and my strength. I'm gonna go more intelligence though, because I can use my strength more wisely.
Name one game where intelligence pays off, though. It's never worked out for me.
Real life.
The game of life.
The game of life. Yeah. But
that's where I'm going to college.
I think I answered this question wrong. I'm going to college. Give me how much does strength actually help me in day-to-day life? This one time, I'm going to pick up a car and save a cat whose tail got stuck, and that's it. All of this strength maxed out, wasted.
You're going to be working at a gym. You're just going to be a gym guy working at the gym.
Yeah, funny. I worked at a YMCA.
Did you?
Creatine and everything.
Yeah,
I was a personal trainer, a weight loss trainer for years.
What?
And that was a fun job that did not pay well. So I went to an even more fun job that still doesn't pay well. Let's go.
You just be a sports athlete. That'll be his job, sports athlete.
What would strength be the best at sports, though? Like, what sport does strength correlate?
Wrestling. You're going to be a wrestler, WWE wrestler.
There you go.
You'll be Mark Henry.
Just Mark Henry, the strongest man in the world.
World's strongest man, right?
the greatest mid-carder of all time. That's me.
He was champion once. He got championship once.
He did. Well, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, man, I like it. I did say it was one of my more popular posts of all time on Reddit when I used to be on Reddit all the time. It's like, Spider-Man is the most realistic superhero story because as soon as he gets his superpowers, the first thing he does is become a professional wrestler. And if I wouldn't want to fight crime, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. That's going to be great.
That's true.
And that one blew up. It's like 100,000 comments or something crazy. And I'm like, dang.
So all in strength, charm, intelligence. Is what other areas is there to respec? What is there, like endurance maybe?
Oh, speed's a good one.
Speed's kind of endurance, right? I guess.
I'm already fast enough.
I wouldn't mind respeccing to be a little faster. Outrun maybe like a cheetah or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Right.
You know, I mean, if a cheetah's chasing me and I didn't and I put all of my attribute points into like charm or something like that. I can't charm my way out of a cheetah. I need the speed. So I think I want like, some speed thrown in there, at least enough to run faster than a cheetah or maybe like 70 miles an hour or something like that. So, in case I've got to outrun a vehicle or something too.
It's
maybe some strength in there too would be cool.
It sounds like you have a deep down fear of cheetahs getting you from that conversation, because you're like, I can't charm a cheetah, so I gotta get away from this cheetah. Like, do you live next to a zoo where like your backyard is just directly facing the cheetah cages, and this one cheetah just looks you in the eye like, I'm coming for you. I'm coming.
You just think of when it happens and you're face to face with a cheetah. You're gonna wish that you put in those specs to be faster. Well, you're gonna wish.
Well, you can put it in like HP as well, right? So in case you have to fight the cheetah, you can win. Right?
That's a good point.
Great
point. More health.
Yeah, life force. I didn't even think about that.
If the cheetah gets you, it's just gonna drain your HP. Like you're not. Once it gets that first hit in, you're done.
Like imagine you respec your HP. Like if your HP is just a permanent number all your life, right? It's 100 HP is what you get. You put it in there, you get 1,000. Like you could get hit by like 4 semis and still be alive. Like that's a good thing maybe to respec into, is just like your health, right?
Yeah. But then what if you have no strength, no intelligence, you just have health. You're just living a nothing life.
You're going to be living in a hospital bed. Like, how is he still holding on? Like, this is incredible. His arms and legs are broken, and his jaws, he can't talk. His eyes long stopped seeing. But man, his brain's still ticking. HP is like the word. I think, what would you say? He
doesn't even have bones anymore.
I think my actual HP right now is 2. Like, if something stubs my toe, I'm down for a week. Like, I need 5 med kits, a rest in it in. Like, my real life HP is not impressive at this point in time. We're getting old. We are getting old. Yeah. There's not much I can sustain. Like I watched
even with speed right now, I'd be useless anyway because I'm old. Like, what am I gonna do with that?
When was the last time you did a full sprint?
I don't even know. I went for a walk after my 24-hour stream back in September. That was nice.
Wow.
That's as far as I get.
Incredible.
That might be your full sprint at this age. Your nice brisk walk.
That's my exercise.
It's like a criminal starts running up to get you, and you're like, I can't go any faster, buddy.
This is my top speed right here.
I remember when we were like out of high school, we used to play basketball all the time and everything. If I did that now, I'd be like dead probably. Like,
it's the pivoting in basketball, even if you weren't moving fast, it would crush.
Yeah. It's just I don't do anything anymore. If I need to go to the gym more often, I guess.
So
I know a good personal trainer.
I didn't say I was good. I just said I did it.
Taco. He was talking about Taco.
The last time I went on a full sprint was months ago, and I didn't mean to, and this was terrifying. So I go to the gym, I get on the treadmill, I put on a nice leisurely pace of like 4 miles an hour, so a nice jog. It gets up to 4, it's like it's going up 4.1. Now it's at 5. Now it's at 7. Now it's at 9. Now it's at 15, which maxed out the treadmill. And it is going, I'm flying. Like you think, like, oh, just pull the emergency stop or jump off. I was not expecting this. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm going to run as fast as I can and then be prepared. Everyone stops and looks at me as I'm flailing. I'm sitting there. My mind is going, like, I have no idea what's happening. My body is in shock from running this fast since I was like a kid playing freeze tag. And I reach out and I pull the emergency stop. The entire gym is looking at me.
Oh my God.
And there's one guy right next to me. He has the smirk like, you okay, buddy? I'm like, I don't know what's time. Oh, and to this day, that treadmill is off the tip. Like it has a big sign, do not use air.
Gosh.
Like it broke on me. And I was this close to being like, I was towards the back. I'm struggling, almost falling off. It was hilarious. And
like how slow or fast was the buildup to getting up to that speed? Like I'm imagining it's like I don't know, it's like taking like 10 minutes and it's like taking you this long to realize it's slowly getting faster. Like, wait, a few minutes ago I was going, what's going on here?
So the mindset was weird. At first it was like, man, I did this yesterday. It wasn't nearly this bad. Man, I'm out of shape. This is bad because in one day I can't wait. It's getting faster. So my first thought was, I blame me. Like, wow, what did I do wrong today? Was it something I ate? And as I'm thinking that, it starts getting faster and faster. And at that point, I'm like, this isn't right. And then I'm in a full sprint, which I haven't done in years. And my body's in shock. My brain's in shock. And I'm just going and like, the people around me are thinking like, this guy is such a tryhard. What's he doing at a Planet Fitness? This is for people that just want to relax and work out. And when I stopped, man, it was... I very well could have gotten very hurt because I was so close to falling off the back edge, which is always the fear. But after the fact, when I was fine, I was like, man. And then you go up to the desk and it's college kids or high school kids running the place. I'm like, hey, this broke on me. And he's like, I'm sure you just hit the wrong button, which is the wrong thing to say. But also it's a kid and I'm not going to be this kid's like boss or teacher. I'm like, all right, thanks for telling me it was my fault. And just like, I didn't say that. I'm like, all right, cool. And went back and just like, that was scary. And the guy's like, what did they say? And they said I hit the wrong button. He's like, it's like, all right, is what it is. But to this day, they don't let that one go. It had an error message. I guess they couldn't figure it out. That was fun. Needed more speed stats. Sorry. Got off the tangent there.
Nice.
So yeah, I think that's what I'm putting my things into. Speed. First off, I want speed. Maybe a little bit of strength. I could some more intelligence. I wouldn't mind some more intelligence. And is there like a looks department? Maybe beef that up.
Is
even
it wrong?
More?
I was wondering the same thing.
is there like a looks department? Like, can you like specifically like target?
I don't think
you
so.
know, like they'd be like, I want like 100 attribute points into the booty. I want to look good.
I think you edited that
like,
all before.
Everything else is a 0, but that booty, it's
booty stats.
Oh my god,
it's beautiful.
What if you only did abs? Like your arms are skinny, your legs are skinny, your booty's small, but that 6-pack, it is a 19-pack.
I think you do that before you put your attributes in, though. You gotta design your character.
Right, yeah, you have all those sliders to start with.
My fear with intelligence is they often say the smarter you are, the least happy you are. Like as intelligence goes up, happiness goes down because you realize how much is wrong. I am not a bright man, but I am a very happy man. And I wonder is that the correlation? Because like I'm not worried about these things. And even if I was worried, I'm not smart enough to help it. Let's let the smart people figure it out. I don't want to be the smart person that has to figure it out. I like my intelligence level being low where I can like play Mortal Kombat and think it's the greatest story of all time.
Ignorance is bliss in life. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
It absolutely is.
I love Mortal Kombat on the Switch. Only the Switch version, though.
All right.
Only the Switch.
Listen,
I've seen some stuff.
Called out. I have the Switch version of Mortal Kombat, and it's because, first of all, I know everyone's shaking their head right now. First of all, I didn't know there was a crossplay on day one. And second of all, I had gift cards and Nintendo points, so I got the game for $10. All right, I get it. I didn't get the good version, but it was $10.
You got ripped off $10.
Wow.
It'll probably be like $10 in a couple of months anyway. On all of consoles anyway. That's just how it is.
Does it at least play the same? Like the jump kick is still the jump kick. It's a different game.
Well, no, it plays the same, but like there's a lag.
Control-wise.
Some of the what are they called? What are the moves called at the end, Ashley?
Fatalities.
The fatalities, they don't even work half the time. My buddy told me.
What's the difference between a fatality and a brutality?
Brutality is how you finish the match. So let's say I hit you with a bunch of uppercuts and I end the match with an uppercut and I hold in the right button.
Okay.
It's an automatic one, where fatality is you have a chance after their health bar is depleted. So you have to do the brutality when they still have life left, and that's what takes it over the threshold.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Okay. I've heard both mentioned. I was like, is this interchangeable? But then the way people talk about it, I'm like, I don't think it's interchangeable. Sounds like they're referencing a specific thing.
It's really fun online too, because brutalities for me are harder to pull off. But when someone does it against me, I feel like it's a personal affront. Like, how dare you?
Have you tried it online, Ashley?
I have a confession.
You have?
I haven't actually played the game yet.
Wow. And you have? Oh my goodness.
I bought it like day one and I downloaded it day one, and I love Mortal Kombat. And
Sub-goal.
Sub-goal!
On the Switch.
There you go.
The worst game on the Switch.
Oh my gosh. I haven't opened it yet.
It's just light and day how different it is. That's the crazy part. But the Switch is behind. It's behind though. Well, you're not playing on Switch though, are you?
Oh, of course not.
Wow.
No.
You're definitely having fun then.
I did 10 seconds of research on that one.
It was $10.
Well, welcome in everybody. This is Arcade Parlor. We talk about video games on the internet. It's about time someone's doing it. It's been gone. It hasn't happened, but we're the first ones doing it. So welcome into I know we're live on Twitch right now. For those who are able to make it in here live, welcome in. Also, welcome to our listeners who will be getting the recorded version of this at a later date. Today's date of recording is October 7th. It is now 4:01 p.m. Eastern time, and this is episode 14.
Wow,
episode 14.
Nice.
We've been doing this for a while now. And I look around the room here, and I'm joined by some cool people here. We'll start off with Ashley, the first one I see. How are you doing? Welcome in. First off, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing wonderful. I'm so happy to be here today.
Let's hear the forecast. What is it in Florida?
Dude,
right now?
I just keep hearing all my amazing Twitch friends saying it's soup season, it's cuddle season, it's nice and cold. Bro, it's 90 degrees here today. No one envies me right now. I just want to be curled up in a blanket, drinking some hot chocolate, and I'm just sweating my booty off. So, no one's envious that I'm in Florida today.
I'm not. It's 55 here right now.
Ugh.
Which I love. I love like the 50s where it's not overcast. It's actually quite sunny out, but it's just cool. I like that. I like that.
I've known you a while, Pancho Taco, and I know you are not a fan of humidity. And for those who may know or may not know, my air conditioner broke last week. I was off for 5 days, and my apartment was 80 degrees, 80% humidity. So today I am very thankful for air conditioning. And it is a cool 68 degrees in my apartment.
You keep it down at 60?
68.
Oh, 68. Okay, I was about to say 60. Wow.
No, that's still cold, but yeah.
That's cold. Yes.
Yeah, I keep mine at 68.
Yeah. That's.
I was gonna say any further down and it freezes.
It's gonna freeze.
You break it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, of course, it's great to have you back on here as usual. Let's see who else we have. I have next person on the list here. I have Cheese Pops. Mike, how you doing?
I am doing great. I am super excited about this episode. Our guest, the legendary Dan. Like, we get into this Discord call a little bit beforehand. Dan comes in and immediately starts making fun of Ashley. And I'm like a shark in the water. Like, I'm in. Let's go. Let's just pick on Ashley this entire podcast. So that's what I'm most excited about. But something I need to get off my chest before we move on too quickly, and I'm not going to say the name. I will show the people in Twitch chat. This is the worst can of soda I have ever had in my life. But if they want to sponsor us, I'll make sure to lie. But I'm just saying, don't buy this. It's ice cold and still tastes warm and hot for some reason.
Ugh.
This is not a refreshing beverage right now.
For those who can't see, it's a knockoff Diet Dr. Pepper.
That's what
Dr.
it is.
Thunder.
It was. Or potentially Dr. Dynamite, or potentially Dr. Dynamo. I don't know if those are real brands, but no, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Our guest is an absolute legend, and can't wait to hear his story.
Well, Pops, it's great to have you on. Returning, coming back. Happy to have you here. And then that brings us to our guest. We are joined today by of Twitch.tv. DanG88. DanG, welcome in.
Hello. Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this. It's gonna be a great episode. Good episode coming in here.
I'm excited. To talk about all kinds of stuff.
Whatever
you guys want to ask.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
As you can see, we clearly talk about anything here.
Random things.
We've started already. We've already gone off the rails.
That's the Twitch life, though.
We've already gone off the rails. Well, happy to have you here. We'll get started chatting with you about a couple things here in a minute. And I'll go ahead and say, and then there's me, Pancho Taco, David, just coming in from, state of Michigan here, broadcasting in. I'm doing great. That's it. That's me. Happy to have everyone here again. Those who are tuning in, whether you're live or coming in on the recorded episode, which we'll be releasing on Monday, October 9th. Thank you for listening, first off. And let's jump in. DanG, I got a question for you.
Sure.
How long when did you start streaming?
So there's a few things with Twitch. I started in 2017. My Twitch account, however, I signed up on Twitch in 2008.
Wow.
So this is my 15-year anniversary on Twitch, but it wasn't Twitch at the time. It was Justin TV.
Yeah. I was about to say.
Well, we used Twitch back then for more of a place for YouTubers that came over and did charity streams and stuff. That's why I signed up originally, just to watch people. There was nowhere else you could actually watch live streams at. This was the only site you could at the time. You could actually watch TV on here at the time, which is great. There was lots of TV shows that were live streamed for free. But yeah, it was fun. And I started streaming about 2017. A couple streamers told me, hey, why don't you start streaming video games? And I said, that sounds like a good idea. Why not? So I started streaming ROM hacks. I started out May of 2017.
Wow.
On the worst laptop you could think of.
A
cheapest laptop
laptop
you could think of. Yep, small laptop. I got a capture card eventually. I had one little tiny monitor. It was like a 10-inch monitor in it.
Wow.
It was the jankiest setup ever. At one point, I was playing the game and had OBS all on the same screen. It was pretty janky
on a 10-inch screen.
On like a 10-inch screen. I kid you not.
gosh.
When I got partner in 2018, I bought a new computer and everything. I think my laptop broke like a month after that. It was so hot from all those streams, and it was almost overheating every stream, but it worked. It got me through the hard times. It's just my way of saying you can stream on anything out there.
True. Honestly,
really
where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Yep. If you want to, you don't have to go out there and buy. Like I see people are like, "Hey, I'm going to go buy a $3,000 computer." No, you don't have to do that. Like even my computer right now is not worth that much. Like you can get the cheapest computer, the cheapest monitors. It doesn't have to be the most professional setup. Later on though, like what I did, I used like someone like donated like my green screen. I know they can't see that, but like green screen. Someone donated like the microphone I'm using, like stuff like that. Eventually, but yeah, it was. I invested into the business later on, bought the computer, bought my Xbox or whatever I'm using, monitors, etc. Curved monitors now.
So way back in the day, what were you watching on YouTube that brought you over to Twitch at the time?
So there was a couple groups of YouTubes. Like I started watching like Proton John, Nintendo Capri Sun, Chugga Conroy, who were mostly into Nintendo games at the time. Proton John was like the godfather of ROM hacks back then, playing like ROM hacks I never even heard of. Eventually I started watching this group called The Creatures. They're not even together on YouTube anymore. They were a big thing in like 2012. But they disbanded at one point. So there's a couple like channels I actually follow on here for like 15 years now, which is crazy. Yeah, but just a bunch of like YouTubers, and this is where they came and do their things. And the funny thing is, I think the first person that brought me back into Twitch was the Beast721. He's a Mario Maker streamer, and one day I just saw a random video of like Mario 1, not even Mario Maker at the time, Mario 1. I watched it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I started watching him on Twitch again. He live streamed on Twitch right before I started streaming, and I just expanded, into other Mario streamers, a lot of Mario streamers at the time, and now it's just a bunch of streamers in general, variety of games, But GDQ also was another thing.
Yeah.
GDQ was a big thing. Watching speedrunners, and it was a lot different back then because I feel like speedrunning wasn't as competitive as it is now, for sure.
Sure.
Definitely. Streaming in general wasn't as competitive back then either. Streaming is really competitive now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Was it all Mario ROM hacks, or was it like ROM hacks of just various Nintendo games in general?
No, just mostly Mario ROM hacks I watch, but sometimes you can't even tell it's a Mario ROM hack back then. Even now, there's some out there that don't even look like Mario ROM hacks, but they are, But yeah. Yeah, just generally Mario ROM hacks. And then Mario Maker became a thing in 2015, and that's really when Twitch, I guess like people started streaming Mario Maker. Mario Maker was a big thing on Twitch when it first came out in 2015, 2016. I didn't stream it until 2017, but I missed it a little bit at first, but it was a really fun game. For sure.
Yeah, it's always interesting to hear about like the early days, going back to like Justin.tv.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the site or anything back then. I created my Twitch account back in like 2014 and decided I don't need this. I don't get it. I'm fine without it. And then I eventually came back, I don't know, 2018 maybe or something like that, started watching again. But it's always interesting to hear. And like you said that like you got partnered in 2018, like a year after starting. Is that what it was?
Yeah, so I started May 2017. I got partnered September 2018.
Wow.
Did they have the different requirements at the time?
Okay, so Yes.
I can't remember when that
So I want to
started.
say yes, they did, but at the same time, no. So it was a little different. So I applied for partner in, I think it was June 1st, 2018, and it was taking forever. I don't know how long it takes people to get denied now or anything like that. Back then, I got denied. I want to say I got denied the first time with 100 average viewers. I was at about 100 average. I got denied July 31st, I remember, July 30th or whatever. It was like the end of the month. It took 60 days to get denied. And I was like, man, this takes forever. And I'm like, and then they recommend on the email at the time, they're like, recommendation, reapply at a month or whatever. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I waited like 3 days. I reapplied immediately. Then I got accepted a month later. But like now I think they force you to wait when you get denied. Like I think you're required to wait 30 days.
I believe
you didn't
so.
have to wait
But
back
like,
then.
like they gray
worked.
out the button essentially.
Right. Yeah. So like in
Yeah.
June 1st, I remember I looked at my stats. I was like 75 average exactly. By the end of July, I was at 100 average. By the end of like beginning of September, when I got accepted, I was at 110. So it took me a little more to get accepted.
Little growth, yeah.
It's a lot harder now, I feel like, too, because you have so much competition out there. There's so many people streaming. It's very demanding. I worked my butt off, I should say. But I would say at one point I streamed like 117 days in a row or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Without taking a day off. Yeah, it was a grind. And I took a couple days off after getting partner, though, because I was like, but the grind doesn't stop when you get partner, trust me. The grind never ends as a streamer.
Sure, especially if
Just
it's
keep
your
going
career.
and going. Yep. You just keep going. That's the demand of Twitch. It's hard to take days off. I try not to take too many days off. I think I took like 4 days off last month, and I felt like that was a lot in my opinion, even with a 24-hour stream. But
well, like it's one of those things too that like I feel like maybe people don't realize unless you're like especially full-time streaming is that like, you know, if you're working at a normal office job, you have PTO, right?
Right.
You take the days off, you're still getting actively paid.
Yeah.
Typically on Twitch and stuff, if you're not streaming, you're missing out on gift subs, you're missing out on those live bit interactions, stuff like that. So then that's income that affects your you know, your actual life. And whereas on a normal office job, you have PTO, it's like, okay, I'm off, but you know what? My pay isn't changing at all.
Yeah, we don't get paid time off. I tell people, you miss a day, you miss a week. I had COVID a couple years ago, and it was like, luckily I had people that were like, hey, I'll volunteer to stream on your channel and stuff, which was great because I was off for like 2.5, 3 weeks at one point. Yeah, because just couldn't. I was sleeping like 18 hours a day at one point when I had it. It was a lot worse back then when I had it, but yeah, it sucked. Like it stinks like missing time because you don't get paid, nothing like that.
When you originally got partner, had you already quit your full-time job or and you were already grinding like and doing this full time?
Yeah. So originally I planned on staying at my job. So here's my plan. So it was like August, I remember. I was like just having a miserable time. I worked at Pizza, if you guys don't know out there. I worked at Pizza 8 years. I was like the assistant manager, I guess you could say. I did all the manager stuff because she was never there, and I was just having a miserable time. And it was like August, right before I got partnered, and I'm like, man, I just can't stand this anymore. And I was making good income off Twitch at the time, not as good as I am now, but like I was like, you know what, I have savings. I'm gonna quit my job, and I'll try to find something else. I immediately started applying for jobs, but then I got that, like I quit my job August 30th, and I got partnered 2 days later. I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got my acceptance. I remember sitting here, and all of a sudden I got like, I have an email from Twitch. What's that? And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's my partner email. And I was like, all right, I'll do my partner celebration. We'll see what happens. And I just never stopped streaming. I was lucky enough, fortunate enough with a great community. My job was making me miserable though, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna try it out. We'll try to go full time, see what happens, you know. But I still applied for jobs, even when I was partner at first. But I was like, you know what? The pay is too good. And that was another thing too. They offered me a raise. They were going to offer me a raise, and raise time came, and then they denied me my raise.
Wow.
Because they said I made too much money, and I was making, here, I'll even say it, I was making $10.50 an hour as the assistant manager. Yeah. And I was like, you know, this is not worth it, what I'm doing. And as soon as I quit too, it's funny, a month later, I went in to turn my uniforms in and stuff. They're like, hey, we'll offer you $13 an hour. I was like, too late. You know, I'm already working.
You already lost
like,
me. I'm a big streamer
good.
now.
I'm doing something else. And I'm having a lot more fun.
Yeah, bigger and better things, you know, like, and there's a lot of streamers out there that can tell you the same thing about quitting jobs. I've seen people quit as teachers and other things, and it's just like, you know, which is just, it's nice. There's some negatives, but there's positives too. Like you're your own boss, you make your own hours.
Yeah. I was just gonna say something about that. Like I had my 15-month anniversary in your stream today. DanG this morning. I was a 15-month streak. I haven't left you since I met you. But to me, something I really admire about you, and especially and people who do this full time, is that you're your own boss, and a lot of streamers don't do like a schedule, or if they do, like they're late or they're wishy-washy. You never are. You are on time. You're on early. You come with the energy. You play the Mario Maker. You play variety stuff. Like you have to have the willpower to do that every day and stay motivated. And you've done it for so many years.
My first advice to people out there who are, if you're ever grinding for partner and you're trying to get partner, my first advice is to have a schedule, maintain that schedule. That's the number one thing I tell people. Like, trust me when I say there's people are sometimes waiting before I even start stream that in there because they know I'm starting at that time.
Yeah.
Like, I start at 6:45 a.m. Eastern time every single day. It's just how it's been since I started. Like, I was kind of variety at the time because of my schedule at work, but I worked at 7 o'clock at my job. So I'm like, I'm just going to start streaming 7 o'clock, you know? And I had a lot of people say that it would be a tough schedule because there was a lot of big time streamers at the time stream at the same time, but like in my community, in my game, you know, but I was like, you know, I'm just going to try it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not meant to be. But schedule is like the number one thing. Number one advice, stick to a schedule. It's the number one thing. If it's hard for you to do, it's hard, but that's what I try to do, stick to a schedule.
I agree with what you said too. Like the schedule's super important, but don't be afraid to schedule it at the same time as other big streamers. Like there's enough people out there. And like, even if we're very similar, all of our personality, like, if you want to be a streamer, you're a weird person to begin with. You're a unique person to begin with. Like you're bringing something to the table that like, if I can stream at the same time as Ashley, at the same time as Poncho Taco, we're very similar. We're nerds. We're dorky. Yet our personalities are extremely different as well. And there's enough people out there that they're going to find and gravitate towards the person they like most. And there's people that are there specifically for you. So don't stress that at all. And like part of that too is why I'm super comfortable. And I think everyone in here is super comfortable, like building each other up too. Like you got to check out Ashley. I don't care if she streams at the same time as me, because there's a large group of people that have no idea how awesome she is and how perfect she is for them. And I feel there's a large group of people out there for you too, Dan, that like once they get eyes on you, they're going to stick around. And I think there's enough people for all of us. And so the schedule, make it for what works with your schedule. Don't base it around other streamers' schedule.
Right.
You're gonna
because here's I always tell people, make your own schedule, make it anytime you want, just stick to it, because Twitch is a thing. It's 24/7. There's always somebody streaming out there. You could stop streaming for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Someone's always going to be streaming no matter what. You could go to another site. There's always going to be someone on Twitch. There's always going to be someone on YouTube. It's just how it is. Like there's never an off time on Twitch. There's always somebody out there streaming. And there's usually somebody streaming the game.
There's always people looking for somebody.
Yep. And
someone's out there.
Every day there's a new person browsing the category you're in. And they're looking for somebody to, hang out and chat with.
Right. Like 15 months ago, there was Ashley right here. So
yeah, it was so funny too. Like I had heard your name. Like I was late to the Twitch game. I made my Twitch account in 2020, in March of 2020. And I followed Slade, I followed Aura, and I followed Barb. And those were where I stayed forever. And I heard your name, like Barb would raid you or Aura would raid you. And I didn't even understand the concept of like following and like finding a new community. I was like, oh, this guy's cool. And I would like hang out whenever they would raid you. But like eventually someone was like, hey, I never see you in DanG. And I was like, you know what? I really got to go there one day. And then I did. And I just never left.
Yeah, I'm the volcano guy in Barb's stream. The guy gets thrown in the volcano.
I remember that.
It still happens.
I've seen that live.
Oh my god, I missed the daily volcanoes.
Over 100 times now. So
wow.
Wow, that's
the only one in Barb's chat over 100 timeouts. I'm honored. Hey, it works,
that's
right?
Hilarious. So you said you started. You said it was 2017. You started streaming ROM hacks. When did you start getting? As you're primarily a Mario Maker streamer. When did you start getting into Mario Maker itself? And then you just kind of stuck with it. It sounds like, right?
I want to say about like 2 months after I started stream. So it was like the end of May. I started streaming like middle of May, and then I think it was like July because I was waiting for my capture card, and there was like an issue with like I remember there was an issue with Amazon shipping it or something like that, and I had to wait like 6 weeks for it to come or something like that. So like it was really annoying, but I got like a discount on it, which was nice at the time. But eventually I just got my capture card, and I basically was playing off the gamepad. I'd be looking down at the gamepad playing as I'm streaming on Twitch. It was like the most jank thing ever. But it worked. Because you could just play off the gamepad. It was really nice. Now you can't really do that on the Switch, but
No.
But we all play on them probably on our monitors now. I mean, I was pretty jank at the time, so. But hey, it worked out at the end. It was a lot of fun. Mario Maker definitely helped me get partner on Twitch. That's for sure. That was a big part of getting partnered.
Did you do like viewer levels or 100 man back then?
Oh, so I did viewer levels.
Didn't we all?
In Mario Maker 1, I ended up finishing at 11,111 viewer levels.
Oh my gosh.
There was a lot of viewer levels.
How did you keep track of that?
I just kept a counter. Every time I did a viewer level, I just add a level to it. And eventually I stopped at 11,111. I wish I had the thing. I had someone made up a like art thing of it, which was really cool, like a stencil thing. It was really cool. Like,
oh my gosh.
11,000 viewer levels. And then Mario Maker 2, I started right when it came out. I started doing viewer levels again, and I stopped at like a couple thousand. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It was just too much for me. I tried. And then people would be like, oh, I'm so disappointed. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. It's really hard. Like,
I'm not trying to give you bad advice here, but I will say this. You could basically commit any crime you want to, go to trial and be like, 11,000 viewer levels, Your Honor. And like, he's insane. Get him out of here. There's no, we can't hold him accountable. He's clearly not right in the head. No,
well, people already think I'm crazy enough because I have like over, what was it, like almost 7,000 hours on Mario Maker 2 already. So yeah, so there you go. That's already, and they're all on stream too. That's the other thing too. I don't play. I feel
like I've played a lot of Mario Maker 2, but I'm only at like 800 hours or something in comparison.
I think I'm getting close to 2,000. I'm excited about that.
But what's funny because people are like, "Man, you end Mario Maker early some days." It's like, well, when you play 7,000 hours, it's kind of tough to keep going. Sometimes, some days you have a good day, some days bad. You know, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
It was a couple of months ago. I started because I'm still doing viewer levels, but I took the S at the end of level off, so now my stream titles are viewer level, so I can still, get the people come in, submit their levels, and like I'll play a handful, but a lot of times, like particularly after one that just kind of like it gets you, it's designed to make the streamer angry, which is awesome content, and I'm glad they exist, but like it's designed to be annoying. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go do my favorite creator level now, and like I've learned that to stay sane with viewer levels, I also just like, you know what? I know you're all here to get your level played. I'm still going to go play this Dragon Hunter level because I want to, and I don't care, kind of deal. And a lot of times
those do go off the rails.
Well, I did viewer levels last week as like a sub goal thing we're doing a few of them, and I played one level and then I played a second level the whole entire stream. It was like 5 hours one level, basically.
I was there. Wow. You spent so much time on that one level, but it was a big W.
People, you'll see people in chat like, quit the level, quit, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna keep playing because I'm having fun. So
I'm gonna keep going at this.
Yep. The more you tell me to quit a level, the more I'm not gonna quit the level.
Same. So stubborn.
It's like reverse psychology.
I think it's a streamer thing. I think in order to be a streamer, you have to be crazy and insane, and I think that's rule number one. And rule number two is like, you're that type of kid in class that wants to do the exact opposite of what the teacher says. Like, please use a number 2 pencil, and you're sitting there with your number 3 laughing like,
what are you going to do about it?
And even if you're ready to quit this level, like, oh, this level's not that much fun, I'm going to quit, go to the next one. As soon as someone in chat says quit the level, you're like, well, guess what?
Now
we're doing
I really
now.
want to play it.
Yep.
Now we're locked in. And like,
now I'm going to continue.
It's weird. So
keep doing
if you're listening and you're in Twitch chat and you want the streamer to do something, don't tell them to do it. 99% of the time, they're going to do the opposite. Just out of pride. I don't even know what it is. Is that pride? Is that stupidity? Why do we do that?
Both.
My thing with Mario Maker is if I'm playing a level and having fun with it, I'm going to keep playing it because that's a rare thing for me sometimes because I've played, I think I'm up to like 70,000 levels now. So just in Mario Maker 2 alone, not counting the 30, 40,000 I play in Mario Maker 1. So it's a lot of levels.
That was the hardest lesson for me to learn is like, if you're not having fun with a level, even if you have rules, I'll play it for at least 15 minutes. Like, don't play it. It's not
that's rule number
this.
2.
Just move on.
That's rule number 2 of Twitch. Rule 1, have a set schedule. Rule 2, play what you're having fun with at the end of the day.
Fun is so important.
If you're not having fun with Mario, don't play Mario, just play whatever you want, Although I will say, I was going to say variety, it can be tough on Twitch and you might not see the best numbers on Twitch, but at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, the Twitch chat's not going to have fun.
Agree.
That's just how it is, And I've had we've all had streams where we're not having fun and, you can see how it affects your stream. But we're all out there, There's some funny Aura emotes out there for Aura not having fun streams, which are hilarious in my opinion. So.
I think there's like a line too. Like even if you're not having fun, you can kind of fake it most of the time, but you feel it and it kind of hurts, and like it ultimately is going to bleed out. It's when you get to that point where like I'm struggling to even fake like I'm having fun.
Sure.
Like that's when like I'm gonna hit and stream.
That's why I quit my job originally. Actually, too. It wasn't the streams that I wasn't having fun with. I would come home and I just wasn't having a good day. And it would kind of, go off on stream sometimes. And I'm like, I just can't do it, anymore. I just, mentally, it was exhausting, But that was one of the reasons.
The two things that really get me frustrated, internet issues.
Yes.
And I think that's universal among streamers.
Sound issues as well.
Sound issue. Like just tech issues are because hitting live is not like a given, it's going to be fun for everyone kind of deal. Like you put a lot of you build yourself up, you get live, okay, let's go. And now this curveball comes in and you're frustrated. And number two, when you see the name Ashley Florida in chat, it's just such a bummer. It just brings you down and it's hard to.
That's my favorite thing to see in Twitch chat, though.
Wow.
My tier 2 subs. That makes me even happier, actually. If I'm having a bad day and someone's like, hey, here's $20, I'll be like, all right, that's great. Now my day's even better.
Yeah.
That'll
turn anybody around.
If there's any cure for a bad day, it's just a gift sub bomb. Yeah, money will fix anything. Like, money, I'm kind of grumpy.
Yep.
So here's some gift subs. Like, you know what?
You ever see me disappoint, guys? Just start donating the money,
That's it.
There you go.
D88 greed.
That's right.
That's what the G stands for.
There you go.
That's right.
So question for, I guess, everybody. What is the longest you've ever spent on a level? Like in Mario Maker, or even like ROM hack, something like that. What's the longest you've dedicated to one single level? So
my second stream I ever did was I played Kurosu Mario World. Great ROM hack. It's like a Kaizo hack that's based off DRAM, but it's easier.
Oh.
Slightly easier. DRAM's a really hard hack.
Yeah.
But this one's not. At the time, it was very hard because I never played Kaizo. There's a second level. I think it's called Barb something. It's named after Barb.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 insanely tight jumps in that level if you're not used to Kaizo. It took me 11 and a half hours. And I did it in one stream to beat.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I remember I got off work at like 4 o'clock, started streaming at 5 o'clock. I got done streaming at like 4 a.m. or something like that. And I had to be at work the next day too.
Oh my gosh.
Was not a good day that day.
Wow.
But I beat the level, so there's a clear somewhere out there. It was like a no cam stream actually of me clearing that level too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it?
Wow. And I was so happy, because it's like there's like ice physics in there too, I think, at one point, and there's just really hard levels. There's a couple really just tight jumps I remember. I don't remember exactly, but that was a hard hack. That was like the longest level at the time. Yeah.
Was
and then there's a what? Go ahead.
Oh, was it like a hype pop off at the end, or was it just it's done?
No, I was really my mic sounded awful at the time because I think I was just using probably a laptop mic at the time, but yeah, it was
probably
pretty nice, but and then I think the second level there, we were actually talking about in Barb's stream the other day. He made I think it's called I forget what it's called, the Terminator or something like that. He has like a Mario Maker 2 level.
Yeah.
I maxed out the timer. It's like there's 2 versions of it. There's a 3D version of it, 3D World version or something like that, and I maxed out the timer on it. Yeah, it's 90. It was like 99. I think it's 99.59.59 is the max out timer in Mario Maker 2. If you don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, so that took a few hours to beat for sure. I've maxed out the timer a few times in Mario Maker 2. I think we've all been there, right, Ashley?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I've ever maxed out a timer. I've definitely spent a lot of time.
I have.
Because I typically only stream like 3, maybe 4 hours at the most at a time. Yeah. So I don't max out the time, but I can think of one level that I kind of grinded on and off for about a year.
Oh yeah.
I would stop and then I would come back to it every once in a while, get back into it, and then it wasn't like these nasty tricks or anything. It just had like a couple back-to-back tricks that I've done multiple times, but it was just insanely fast.
Yeah.
It wasn't like doing 12 double shell jump. I don't know. It's something like that. It just wasn't clicking for me. Mm-hmm. There's so many unclears and they're pretty much all me. I found it in the 0% and I just worked on it. And I finally got through the door. I've been in the overworld, the subworld, and then I'm back in the overworld and it's still not the end. Over a year, I finally got through that door And then it jumped up like tenfold in difficulty out of nowhere with all these crazy moves. I was like, all right, I think that's it. I think I'm done. And I told chat, I was like, all right, guys, go ahead and send this to like Aura or something like that. and so they did, and it took him like 2 or 3 hours to beat it.
He was first clear,
it was
right?
a difficult level.
Wasn't he first clear?
Yeah, first clear. Yeah,
that was hype. You're
it took
whole,
2 to 3 hours of grinding it. Yeah,
your like whole.
So I was like,
crew
well, if
was
it took
in
him
there.
that long, yeah, everybody was. If it took him that long, I still had a long ways ahead of me to get through that at that point. So I was like, that's fine, whatever. But that's probably the longest. I don't know how many hours I spent a lot of hours on it, but it was just kind of on and off throughout the year. Come back, a couple times, a number of times a month and stuff, and just grind it, and never got there. Never did complete that one. And I saw where it ended, and I was like, I don't really have an interest in doing this anymore.
I think it's funny actually when I had someone come in the one day and they're like, I have a level you'll never beat. They said it took me 100 hours to upload and I beat it within like 10 minutes.
I think I was there.
Like,
it was recent, wasn't it?
I love the overconfidence.
You don't have to call me out every podcast, man.
I'll give it my best try. I said, that's what I do. But like, when you play the game a lot too, I tell people like that's the best way to get good at Kaizo. Just keep playing Kaizo. They're like, how'd you get good at Kaizo? I'm like, I don't actually know. I just kept playing Kaizo. Just kept playing and playing and playing. Like there's shell levels out there, just keep playing and you'll get good. Just put enough anything you want to get good at, you just gotta put the time into.
That was the best advice I got, just because like you see people like Dan, you see people like Aura play the game, and you're like, how are they like, this must be a natural gift. And when you actually talk to them or someone asks the question, it's like, well, thousands and thousands of hours is the natural gift.
Right.
Just keep playing it, and as long as you're having fun, you're still going to get better at it too. So you don't have to actively, practicing helps, but sitting there and like hitting your head against the wall, probably not necessary. For me, the longest level I ever ground out in one stream was like basically a speed run. You had to carry a bomb just to throw it at the very end.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was
those are fun.
A member community. It's my best YouTube videos. It doesn't have the most views, but it was edited by a friend. It was his level. So the amount of love that went into that YouTube video is incredible. That took me 4 hours to beat. And like, he even makes fun of me. I'm like, because I run my mouth on my stream because I'm an idiot from Pittsburgh. I'm like, I'll beat this in 5 minutes. And he's like, shows the timer of 4 hours later, that whole meme.
Is that, I might know what is that the one that it would kept getting resent to you periodically, or is this one that you just kind of played it all? It was just one single.
So this one was the one single one. It was just I spent 4 hours one stream, but Mr. Bombs is the other one. There's a Mr. Bombs one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
I could only play that level for 15 minutes max at a time, unless it was an event. I do it for an hour. But Dan, I don't know if you ever saw. It's the most frustrating and mean to the streamer level by one of my favorite level creators of all time. Shout out to Smitey. But he is a mad scientist when it comes to making evil levels that streamers will hate. And so I respect that, knowing that was his goal. So think of it, the level starts with a bomb, and his name is Mr. Bombs. And you have to escort him through the entire level.
Yeah, I played levels like that.
There's only one place you can jump. There's only one right thing you can do. And if you mess it up, it's over. So it's like Simon Says, where it's like red, green, and it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. And if you play that level more than 15 minutes, you're going to start messing up earlier in the level because you're starting to get so frustrated. You're thinking about later in the level. And it just, the grind took like years to get done, but it was such a, people loved it because it's so well designed. And I would visibly get angry anytime it would come up. And so that's huge. I loved it too, because that's content for me, because people love seeing it. But I knew if I played it more than 15 minutes, I think at one point I opened every stream with one attempt at it because it takes 5 minutes to try to get to where you're at. And then once that 5 minutes comes up, now we have to learn one more new thing to add to it. And it was ridiculous. But those are hard to do. But when you get a level that's 4 hours and it's fun for that 4 hours or 11 hours, like those are so rare and a testament to how good that level was made.
Yeah.
Because I don't care that I'm playing the first sections over and over again. I'm having fun doing it. I love those levels. I think those are a blast. Like, I love a good grind level where it's fun to watch, it's fun to play. And I think that just goes into super good level design to keep me interested, even though, because there's nothing worse than an old Nintendo game getting to the boss, dying, and like now you have to go play that level over again, and you're like, man.
Yes.
But a really well designed game. Oh, I get to go play that section again. This is great. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, if we're talking level in general of like any Mario game, I'm currently playing the longest level I've ever played. I'm playing a ROM hack called Cuter Kaizo World, and I've been on the same. I just took it took me 10 hours to do one section, which was, it had 4 shell jumps in it, and God knows I could never do a shell jump before. But I'm still on it right now. I just got to the last section before the ending. If there's a boss, I'm not really sure, but I've probably spent total on the level like at least 15 hours. It maybe 14 or 15 hours. But for Mario Maker, when I made the Get Good challenge, which is the top 100 most popular expert and super expert levels, which DanG, I think you were the first person to beat my Get Good challenge. I think you were the first one.
There's only troll levels I had left too, which was really, I hate troll levels.
I know.
I remember looking, I'm like, it's troll level.
And that training level that had the crazy ending with the weird shell trick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
Trick's called.
There was a level now I made the Get Good challenges. I couldn't even beat an expert level back then. Like now I'm not great at Mario Maker, but man, am I good at, I'm better than most. But I played a level by Bufflin. The level,
Bufflin.
Yeah, my Bufflin. It took me 8 hours to beat this level. Bufflin heard about me in the community, heard that I spent 8 hours on one of his regular, popular, super expert levels, and he came into my stream to like talk to me about it. We ended up becoming friends, and when he made his ROM hack, in his special thanks, he's got like Barb, Glitch Cat, like all like the Thab, and then it says, and Ashley, Florida, for playing my level for such a long time.
Nice.
But I spent I spent 8 hours on that level, right? I remember back then Pancho Taco used to do viewer levels, and I gave him the level, and he had never seen it, never played it, and he beat it in like less than 20 minutes.
My man, that's awesome.
Yep.
I love when I do that, when someone's like, this will take you forever, and then you beat it in like 5 minutes. You're like, all right, no problem. I used to jokingly tell people when they send me a really hard level, just send that to the Beast 721. That's
there you go.
There you go.
There you go. Beast. He's got it.
They love this.
Oh yeah,
this type of level.
Easy. Or tell them to send it to Barb when Barb doesn't even have the game installed anymore.
Right. Man, Mario Maker. I haven't played that game in a hot minute though. So it's been a while. It's been a while for me. And I think it's going to stay that way for me for quite a while.
Well, you got like another like year or so before they announce Mario Maker 3, so you're good, right?
Copium.
Yeah.
For the new Switch, right? The Super Nintendo Switch.
First game coming out. Bam.
I still stand by. It's not going to be Mario Maker 3. It's going to be Super Mario Maker 2 featuring Charging Chucks. They'll add Charging Chucks, and that's it.
Just Charging Chuck.
Just Charging Chuck edition. And everyone will come back for a week, and then it'll be like, all right.
Well, we have hope now that they could add like Mario Wonder into it. When we get that, that's only a couple weeks away.
Yeah, I don't know.
My prediction has always been Mario Maker 3D. That's the next one. They're going to call it not Mario Maker 3. They're going to make it 3D. They're going to somehow have it where you can make something a little more open world or something with like a 64 style. They'll maybe add Wonder to it, but I'm not gonna lie. I think they'll make another one. I really do.
Maybe they'll name the next one Mario Maker 3D. It'll have like 3D added implements into it, like 2D and 3D.
Yeah.
I think 3D is putting too much power in the hands of the level creators we have right now.
I can't even make a 2D level. My levels are hot
most
garbage.
2D levels are terrible.
If you ever hear me criticize your level, don't take it seriously. Just go play one of my notes. Like, I know how hard it is to make a good level. I'm just spoiled. There's so many good creators out there. Now the standard's up here. So I'm like an English teacher that doesn't know the language. Like, I know this is a good paper, but this paper over here, this looks like my work. Bad. Be better. Do that. But like, 3D would be so hard. Like, they can't even have people make good Zelda dungeons. And like, I would love to see an option because there's going to be like a handful of people that can do it. But most of us won't be able to.
Well, I always say this, though, too. People are like, well, if they add this or that, it's going to be bad. But there's always going to be good, too, right? Anything they add could be good. It could be bad.
There will always be.
I will say there's people out there who make levels better than Nintendo out there.
Agree.
Years better than Nintendo.
Definitely.
100%.
There's no doubt about it. Even the last like new Super Mario Brother games, which I enjoyed, the Rayman games, were so much more fun. The level design was fresh. They did things that caught you by surprise. And I love Mario. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I'll buy every Mario game that comes out. But the Rayman Origins or what, I can't remember the last one, like the level design was crazy. And that's why I love Mario Maker 2, especially once you find, like, if you buy Mario Maker and just do endless, you're going to have a bad time. But if you buy, if you get Mario Maker and find good levels, you're like, holy smokes, this is a lot better than Nintendo thinking outside of the box.
I think the most disappointing thing about Mario Maker 2 is there's just so much more they could add. There's more they could add. There's more they could do. And they just kind of gave up on the game. They gave up on Nintendo gives up on a lot of games, and it's kind of frustrating. It was like that with Animal Crossing, which is a game that can infinitely be updated because it has real time in it. And they gave up on that game already. And that's the second highest Switch selling game of all time, right? And they gave up on that game so fast. It's just like, I don't understand the business decisions sometimes with some of these games they give up on so easily. And then they have Mario Kart 8, which is still getting updated somehow. So for like, it feels like 10 years now it's been updated.
It's like these other games we want updated. Mario Kart. We just want a new Mario Kart.
They promised us Mario Party. They promised Mario Party. It was on a direct. They're like, hey, we're going to update Mario Party. They never updated Mario Party.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
And Mario Party is actually outsold Mario Maker, funny enough. So
that's wild. That caught me by surprise because like I love watching Maker.
Also outsold Mario Maker by double almost. I think it is the remake.
I think that's why they stopped updating it. Yeah. The worst ever was, and I bring this up every podcast, every single one, Dan, is when they looked me in the eyes in a direct and go, we're never updating this game again. Just lie to me. Just lie and say, maybe next time you'll get something else you like. You know what?
That's what they did with Mario Party. That's what they did with Mario Party. They're like, hey, we're updating it. And then they never updated it.
I'm fine with that. At least there's hope.
I was
Even if they got on and said, we're getting rid of snake levels. There's no more snake in Mario Maker 2. I'm like, that would bring everyone back. Just get rid of the snake.
We are now banning people who upload troll levels.
Troll levels are good. If you know,
I would even pay for DLC if I had to. On Mario Maker.
I think so many people would.
Same.
Yeah, kind of like with Mario Kart. If you don't have the online, you have to pay for the DLC. I would do the same thing for Mario Maker.
Right.
You know? Like, I don't know. That's just me though. Same with like Splatoon, I think, which they add to the online service as well. You know, which is very popular in Japan. But yeah,
I mean, speaking,
go ahead, Nash.
Oh no, I was gonna totally go off topic. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, kind of going back to what we were saying, like how it's kind of surprising that like Mario Party outsold Mario Maker 2. It's one of those things that like it's people speculate, you know, if Mario Maker 3 happens, there's speculation that if it doesn't happen, it's because it didn't nearly have the attachment rate of Mario Maker 1 to Wii U. So like, sure, they made money off Mario Maker 2, but it wasn't as big of a success when you think of like attachment rate. So it's one of those things that's like, if Nintendo doesn't do it, it's probably because of that.
But I also think it's also because they promised not to update it anymore too. I think that has something to do with it too. They're like, hey, we're done with this game, so people are just like, well, why would I buy that game anymore? You know, like I haven't seen many people buying Animal Crossing anymore either because they're basically like, hey, we're done with that game too. So even though a lot of people have already bought that, but then you look at Mario Kart. Mario Kart's still selling like crazy because they keep updating it too. That's like one of the highest selling Nintendo games of all time, right? Like, yeah,
even before they announced like any DLC for Mario Maker, it was still like #1 every month. Somehow people somehow not everybody owns Mario Kart already. I don't know how people are still buying this game. It's insane how popular that game was.
Well, I mean, at one point, I think they were selling more Breath of the Wild copies than there was Switches at one point when that first came out. And,
for sure.
Yeah,
the old Atari strategy.
Yeah, it was very popular at the time.
Well, they bamboozled us with Breath of the Wild because I had Breath of the Wild pre-ordered for 5 years before the game actually came out because they kept pushing it back. But
I bought it on both.
There was no Switch.
You're right.
There was no Switch when they announced the Breath of the Wild. So here's me, go to the store, so excited with my big girl job. I bought my Zelda Edition Wii U that sat on my counter for years waiting for the game, and then I'm like, yay, it's coming out, and they were like, and so's a brand new system for you to play it on. And I was so mad. I boycotted buying a Switch just because of Breath of the Wild for like almost 2 years, and I did my first playthrough Breath of the Wild on my Wii U, and I never touched a Switch because I was so angry at Nintendo. What? I was so mad. I was like, I bought this system just for Breath of the Wild.
I was the opposite.
Oh, I was mad.
My wallet hated me when I went to Target that day. I bought the Legend, like the collector's edition on the Switch. I bought the Wii U version. I bought every single amiibo. I got like some other item. I think it was like $380 I spent or something like that.
Oh,
I was like,
that
I'm getting
was-
every Zelda item at the time.
That was me with Tears of the Kingdom. I got the OLED. I got all the amiibos. I got the book, the case, the
So here's Ashley buying a
controller.
second Nintendo Switch here.
I had spent almost $1,000 on
taking out a
Tears.
mortgage on Zelda.
Spent
She's like, I
almost-
boycotted
Yup.
2 years of this, and now
Almost
I'm buying a second Switch.
1,000. They got me the next game because Tears of the Kingdom almost $1,000 I spent
They
before it
reeled
even
her
came
in.
out. I had spent $900 before the game even came out. Ridiculous.
And Breath of the
They suckered
Wild
her.
has that moment when you first see the
Oh.
dragon in
Oh,
the
yeah.
sky.
Yes.
That's top 3 video game moments, like where my jaw was like, oh,
The
this
title
is different.
scene in Breath of the Wild. We've talked about it on the podcast before, like the best like title scene moment in like a video game, and Breath of the Wild will be number 1 for me forever. It was just so beautiful.
Just coming
It's
out.
funny
of the cave.
actually. It's funny when it came out to the Switch. I didn't buy my Switch for the longest time. It was like May after it came out. It came out in like March, I believe. And I remember May. The only reason I bought it before I started streaming is because I was playing games with streamers like Dragon Feeney, Barb, and
Mhm.
Carl Sagan, and all these other people. And like people would get upset because I wasn't a streamer. I was playing games with them because I kind of like made a friendship with them because I was like in their streams constantly.
Yeah.
And I tell people that's how
Right,
you do. it.
right.
You gotta like what do they call it? Like just going to people's streams and making like friendships and stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
But basically, I went out and bought a Switch just to play Mario Kart when it came out with them on Twitch. And then eventually I used this. I didn't use my Switch much after that because I was always streaming the Wii U at the time over Mario Maker 1.
Mhm.
And then eventually I streamed Mario Maker 2 eventually when it came out. It came out like 2 years later, I think.
Speaking of which, heartbreaking.
I think
you
it's
know,
2019. Yeah.
Mario Maker
Yeah.
1. I just got Mario Maker 1 a couple weeks ago. Just played it for the very first time, and now
And
it's like,
it's ending.
hey, surprise! In April, it's over. So I have a challenge where I made up a Bufflin challenge after I met him to do every Bufflin level ever, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do every Bufflin level, I have to also do his Mario Maker 1 level. So I bought Mario Maker 1, and now I have to do them all before April.
Well, I'm really excited because Team 0% is trying to beat every Mario Maker 1 level, and they're getting very close.
Mhm.
And they have they have thousands left, but there's a chance they're trying to get it done. I think it's like April next year. They're done. They can't do it anymore. So they're trying their best to get every
That'll be
single.
crazy if they do it.
What a grind.
That'll be insane.
I know they have
hope
like
they do.
I
That'd
know
be
they have
awesome.
like all the 2015 levels. They almost have all the 2021 and 2020 levels, but they have a lot in 2018, 2017
Mhm.
yet. So
Okay.
yeah, it's crazy how many levels Mario Maker 1 had compared to 2. 2 is like so many more levels because it's so much
Yeah.
more popular. I feel like because the Switch is way more of a popular console.
Sure.
Overall, everybody has a Switch. You know, it's kind of like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Wii. It's kind of like when the Wii came out. I used to tell everybody, even your grandma had the Wii. You know, they were playing bowling. Or
My grandma
whatever,
has
you
a
know.
Wii.
Yeah, because playing Wii bowling or whatever.
It's in the old.
I
people's
remember,
homes. It's everywhere.
One
yeah.
of my friends actually, their mom had this like asthma issue, and she had to go to like this nursing home to get like help and everything like that. And we went in there, and they had a Wii bowling night. I remember seeing all these old elderly people, like
awesome.
80 years
Wow.
old, playing Wii bowling. That's what it made me think of. I'm like, everybody has a Wii. Everybody has a Wii.
People get mad at me when I include Wii Sports in my top 10 best video game list because
I love
Great
Wii Sports.
game.
Wii Bowling
It
is
was
legit
influential.
a ton
Incredible.
of fun. And if right now, if I popped in Wii Bowling and my wife
Yeah.
sees me playing, she'd be like, "Let me bowl a few frames."
Mhm.
Like she likes video. Like if I see anyone playing that game, it's fun. It's a joke.
Oh,
Motion controls are good for 2 things: Wii Bowling and then
Yeah.
light shooters, rail shooters. I love rail shooters
Yeah.
on the Wii. So much.
I like
fun. Give me House of
what
the
was
Dead.
that Zelda game? The
Skyward
Arrow
Sword?
game.
Crossbow.
Link's Crossbow
Crossbow
Training.
Crossbow training.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I
gotta get
I
that
never
one.
played it.
You
I bought
do
it.
Yeah, you get
have
the
it.
you get the little
Didn't
Wii
you just buy it
zapper.
recently?
Yeah.
Pops?
I was on a date with my
within the
wife,
last year?
and instead of buying her popcorn, I bought Link's Crossbow Training.
That's just good priority right there.
I know
That's a
I
good
got
priority.
destroyed. The
Yeah.
Twitch chat was not okay with my decision making, and she hung.
I'm okay with your decision.
She hung me out to dry ridiculously.
my
I was
God.
thinking about this for Mario Maker 3 if it ever comes out. Like I don't need a whole lot. There's so many things. Just fix what was like. Bring back 100 Man. Bring
Yeah.
back the costumes.
Mhm.
Keep what you've had in
Oh,
2, and then add charging chucks and get rid of snakes. Mario Maker 3. We're happy.
Get rid of snakes.
I'm
I
so
hate those
weirdly with
snakes.
you on the
I hate
charging
the
chuck.
twisters.
Charging chuck is the number one thing I want to see in Mario Maker 3. Weirdly,
He throws baseballs, footballs, he charges, and it's just the worst enemy ever. And I think it would be hilarious to fight against him.
I'd like to see the dinos in SMW brought
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in. The ones
They're
that
nice.
take 2 hits to kill and they just kind of move a little
they called
faster after they
Rex?
get hit. I think that would add some for fun dynamic.
I actually like I want the piranha plants that spit things up in the sky. Like the little ones from SMB3. It's in World 6. You just start seeing them spit like little spinies in the air, like those things.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
Yeah, and they can move like back and forth. Who knows? Because some of these enemies are exactly like the other ones.
I mean, I know 3D World, they kind of split it off where you can't like the other ones you can usually just like switch between modes right on the fly, but 3D World is the only one you can't. So maybe it just has something to do with that some of these assets are just too difficult to.
I still think it's the limitations.
Each version its own.
Just limited.
I think it's limited because the technology of the Switch though too.
Makes sense.
It could be.
I mean, like look at ROM hacks. ROM hacks have an infinite amount of things, but it's also on PC, right?
Right.
Which PC infinitely can do more, but yeah.
But yeah, going back to Ashley, we were saying like Mario Maker 1 shutting down. I mean, the Wii U services and the 3DS Online are shutting down entirely. It's kind of one of those things. It's like, someday that'll happen to Mario Maker 2. All these levels that are out there, unless you download them, which you can only download a finite amount, they're just going to be gone, never to be played ever again.
Heartbreaking. And
that's also kind of the beauty of like, ROM hacks and SMW Central is that
they're there forever.
They're hosted unless SMW Central goes under, which I'm sure somebody would archive literally everything on there and host it somewhere else. Those aren't going anywhere.
Yep.
Those will live on indefinitely.
No one talks about what I was gonna say is everybody's talking about the Wii U getting shut down. What about the 3DS version of Mario Maker? I have that sealed still. I've never even opened it yet.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
I have the 3DS version. What was the
weird limitation?
You could on the 3DS version, I'm pretty sure you can't pick what levels you play.
There was like no level browser. I think no
level
you had
browser.
To know the code.
You had to put either the code in. I even think if you had the code, you couldn't even do it. I think you just had to play 100 Man and you could just play whatever it gives you. Basically, it was so many limitations. It's actually funny. Like there's games on the Wii U that are also on 3DS and how much limited they are on the 3DS. Like Hyrule Warriors, Smash Brothers. Like it's just hilarious how bad it is. Actually, it's like Mortal Kombat. 1 on the Switch compared to the Xbox or the PlayStation, right? Like
it's almost a joke because Mortal Kombat 1 on Game Boy is notoriously one of the worst ports of all time. Like it fundamentally doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like if you sold me and Ashley to design Mortal Kombat 1 for Game Boy back in the day, we would have done a better job with zero knowledge in game programming. Like at least the B button would do something, I think.
I just don't get these companies. Sometimes they're just like, hey, we're going to put this on the Switch. And it's like, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Not with these new games and stuff. Like,
no.
Yeah. No, wasn't there another game that's on the Switch? Like, isn't it like, what's that game? It's like, oh my God, like Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring. It's Elder Scrolls.
The Witcher 3.
Or The Witcher 3, maybe. Yeah, there's like, or no, maybe it's like, I'm thinking Skyrim. Is Skyrim on the Switch?
Skyrim's on the
Skyrim runs decent on the Switch.
It does it? I've never tried it.
Because it's like, I think the Switch, when I think of it like Xbox 360. Like if it played on 360, you're gonna be fine. And like we had fun with it. I bought it because I'm like, I'm playing on the go, but I never play my Switch on the go. I don't know I'd never leave my house. What am I doing?
The thing I remember about the Xbox 360, I remember when Black Ops 3 came out, Call of Duty. So they had a DLC that came out right after the game came out, and the first DLC pack they put on the Xbox 360 as well. It was so bad they canceled all future DLC for the Xbox 360 version. Because it wouldn't work on the Xbox 360 because it was so limited at the time. It was hilarious. It was so bad too. It was Der Eisendrache was one of the zombie maps and it wouldn't work at all. Like it was just terrible.
Such fond memories of the 360 because that was the first time I felt like internet gaming is here to stay. It included the headset. 3. I heard words I've never heard before or since. Like it was so toxic and mean, but the toxicity and meanness was coming out of 13-year-old kids' voices. I'm like, I'm from a small town and I'm sitting there hearing things that are getting yelled at me. I'm like, what a world we live in. And like the online community has changed a ton for the most part, where it's a lot more gentle. But I missed the 360. The interface was so simple. I remember getting the Xbox One and being confused, or like, what is your Outlook email address? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have one. It's like, well, you can't play this system until you have your Outlook email address. Yeah. I'm like, I have my Hotmail one. Can you use that? And I put that in. It's like, that's not how you spell Outlook, buddy. And I remember I hated it. And it
sounds like my grandma, she was alive when I tried to get her first email address in. Because I remember there's like certain things she signed up for. I'm like, you need an email. She's like, what's an email? It's not you. What's an email? I'm like, well,
Other than Ashley, I think we're at the point now you have to have two systems. Like you have to have Nintendo for the Nintendo IPs, and you either have to have a good PC or an Xbox or a PlayStation.
I have all three. I have PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, just in case there's something like, because there's exclusives that are only on PlayStation as well. I don't want to try Demon's Souls. PS4 works for most games anyway, right?
You know what I just played on PS4? You ever hear of PT, the playable teaser, that demo horror game that like you can't even get anymore?
From Kojima.
Yeah, Kojima. I still have people were coming in and they were like, "How do you have this?" I was like, "I still have
that's
the
like
original."
I have the demo disc for the GameCube for was it Mario Kart Double Dash? There was a 2-disc set you can get.
Wow.
I have that too. It has a bunch of it's really hard to find too.
Oh my gosh.
I'm always proud of that. It's like one of my favorite collector's items I have. I love the GameCube. That's like my favorite console of all time, I think.
Wow.
There's just so many top-notch games on the GameCube. Like if you haven't played the GameCube out there, I recommend going out. It's like the best Zelda game, one of the best Mario Kart games, one of the best Mario RPG games, the best Mario 3D game in Sunshine. Like there's so many great games on the GameCube. I love the GameCube.
I have to say with GameCube, as much as I love the GameCube, it is probably my least favorite controller.
Oh, that's my favorite controller.
Is
no, the Nintendo Wii.
It's a good
the
one.
The Wii's on the bottom, and the N64 bottom. I hate the N64.
The N64 is my favorite controller.
I don't have 3 arms though, so I can't use it properly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pops, you look soured. You look soured.
I was looking for my Mario Kart Double Dash to see if it had 2 discs in it, and it's gone. And I probably lost it in college and just haven't tried to play it since then. And so it's just gone. And now I'm like, now I'm pouting because I hate when I lose a game. I literally have lost like 3 games in my life. Kirby Canvas Curse on like the DS. I have the case still. Game is gone. Super fun game. Then they made it for the Wii U. And I was super excited. I bought it like a brand new game, but you play the whole game on the screen and it looks beautiful on the TV. You're never going to see it playing the game because you're constantly drawing on the little handheld. Yeah. But
the only game I've ever lost I wish I had was Conker's Bad Fur Day. My gram gave it to like a Goodwill's. I remember when I was younger, and it's like worth like $150 now. And I'm just like, man, I'm never going to get this game again. It's so impossible to find. I found a version actually at a yard sale once, but I could tell immediately it was a fake version. And later on, they tried to use it and it didn't work. And I was like, they got like ripped off by somebody apparently. And I was like, you can sometimes tell when there's fake games out there and not good.
Something off.
My advice for anyone in high school about to go to college: take your video games with you because your parents or your guardians will give them to your cousins. Including your Pokemon cards, because they're going to assume you're going to grow up and get a job and forget childish things, and you're not going to. They're not going to understand it. And so your cousin Chris is going to get your Super Nintendo and Pokemon cards. He's not even going to play it, and then it's going to disappear forever. And so take them with you. Don't take a computer. Don't take notes. Just take your video game collection, or else it will be taken from you.
Bury them in the yard.
You know your parents are going through your stuff the second you're out of the house.
Bury them in the backyard. Just put them in a hole.
E.T. style.
That's it.
Yep. Put them in a hole. Bury it up.
What is we had mentioned it before. I can't remember what it was. We were talking about like top video game. You know, it's the top 3 video game moment of all time when that happened. What is your guys' top video game, like a moment in a video game that happened that you're like, this is the cool, like it gave you chills? It's like, this is the cool, like what the heck, this is the coolest thing that's happening right here right now.
It's pretty easy for me. It's like I think it's Halo. Is it Halo 1 or 3 where you escape, where you jump? Like I remember like the Warthog just jumps over everything and there's like explosions in the background. Yeah, it's Halo 3. That's right. And it's been a while, but that was like a top moment for me. Like that's just
so good.
Halo is 100% why I have a Xbox instead of a PlayStation, because I'm a huge Halo fan, and I miss out on. I've never played a God of War. I'm jealous of that. The new Spider-Man games, I'm kind of jealous of, and like I'm not against. Well, I started out against PlayStation because I was a Sega boy, and PlayStation is just like, hey, Sega, you're stupid and we're smart. Sorry, quit existing. And so I got mad and joined Team Nintendo, and I will be a Nintendo fanboy ever since. But like now, like if you like a system, you like it. Doesn't mean everyone has to like it with it. Just do what you feel like doing. It's just I don't have enough money to have all 3, and so I always go for, because I love Halo. Halo's like the NBA Jam of shooters for me, where you can get shot in the back, turn around, and still somehow live.
What's good about that Halo mission too? People don't know this actually. A lot of us have played Tears of the Kingdom on Zelda. There's actually a shrine in that game that actually is, I think, made based off of Halo 3, that mission actually. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
I didn't.
If you
No.
Yeah, there's like a video someone made out there. I don't know if it's like on purpose or anything like that, but they like put the Halo music in the background and it looks exactly like the mission kind. It's kind of funny actually. It's like a 2D version, but like it's not 3D, but it is 3D, but like not as, up to date as Halo's graphics, but pretty good. Yeah. And I think the other moment for me is when you came out of the Cave of Resurrection in Breath of the Wild and you just see the world in front of you. First time ever in Breath of the Wild. I think that's another top 3 moment for me because I remember seeing it and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of stuff.
You guys like that moment. For me, I thought that was cool, but I've already played like Skyrim and Oblivion at that point. So like open
but
worlds.
for me, it was an open world in a Zelda game. That's why for me, because I like the story and the characters and everything else. Everything with the music
Zelda was
and Zelda.
Like, it was like Zelda's evolving basically.
Yeah. And Zelda's never had an open
kind of like
world
all
like
that added together.
Mm-hmm.
My Goosebumps moment was the when I looked up and saw a dragon in the sky. I still that was my moment in that game. Like I thought the opening was awesome, but I guess I was prepared for it because they said, "Hey, we want to make Oblivion, but in Zelda." So I was anticipating that. I was not anticipating like there's a dragon in the sky right now.
Well, I mean, that was me, but with Majora's Mask with the moon in the sky, and it just kept getting closer and closer and closer, and like you're just like running out of time. It's like dun 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 dun, and it's just going faster and faster and faster, and you're like losing your mind.
It's close. It's so
you're just
scary.
like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And the first time you ever did that, it's like you don't know what to do. Like, do I play the time? What do I do?
It's terrifying.
Like, you run out of time.
That clock's running out.
I love Weird Nintendo, and Majora's Mask is Weird Nintendo at its finest.
Yep.
It's
one of my favorite.
So
it's still my favorite Zelda game. I love Majora's Mask.
Me too.
It's so dense.
It's a good one.
I love it. So every
I never thought they'd make a better game than Ocarina of Time too at the time, and right away it was like bam.
For me, a weird moment that will stick with me forever is just the first time I played Resident Evil 4, and you go into the village, and it's just an action. Like over the shoulder laser pointer, and it's horror, but also it's action. And I don't think up to that point I'd ever played anything like it. Like I played Resident Evil Code Veronica, but that's very much slow and methodical. I played GoldenEye, that's very quick and shooty. And now here's this weird intersection where the controls are great and the horror is like, because the dude has the burlap sack with a chainsaw coming at you. And this is the beginning of the game. This is the tutorial. I'm like, holy smokes, they finally got a tutorial right. There's no one on the radio telling you, hit the A button, chief. It's just a guy with a chainsaw. It's like, you're going to die or you're going to learn. Good luck, buddy. And I'm trying to think of a different one, but that moment.
That's actually probably my top moment is Resident Evil 4. And I'm only reminded of that also right now because I'm playing the remake right now for the first time. And the point also, Pops, like you're saying, is you go into this insanely stressful zone, and then afterwards it's like late game title screen. They drop it like, welcome to Resident Evil 4. And it's just like,
that's the tutorial.
What is this? This is so like the way to set the tone. Like it was like back, like maybe now it's not as incredible, but back then in 2005, 2004, that was incredible when that happened. The late game title screen, like, well, this is Resident Evil 4.
Honestly,
like it was insane.
That game, in my opinion, if there wasn't so many great games coming out this year, it could have been a game of the year contender. But there's so many just top notch games out there. We have a lot of great games right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have a funny
2023. We're filling up right now.
Oh yeah.
We're eating good.
Developers are killing it.
Funny Resident Evil 4 story. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast before, but if I have, this is for the new viewers. So I had a friend that worked at the movie theater with me that like just got into video games, like thought Resident Evil 4 was awesome because we played on our breaks there. And he took the game home, and I told him like, hey, you have to do this. There's a secret gun in the lake where you get to the lake, you have to shoot all of the fish you see. And if you shoot all the fish, you get a secret gun, where in reality, the Easter egg is if you shoot the fish or shoot the lake like 4 or 5 times, the lake monster comes up and eats you, and that's it. You're dead. It's game over. And so I knew he would be offended by this. And this is like when texting and cell phones are new, basically. And I let him have it. I'm sitting there all night just waiting for my text. And the string of profanities that I got sent from the most mild-mannered guy I've ever met. His name was Mike Myers, by the way, which is hilarious.
That's amazing.
Name for a man, right? Just straight up Mike Myers.
That's great.
Super chill, relaxed dude. I don't think I heard him swear maybe once. And the profanity-laced text that I got made me know I made the right choice. And I heard it's still in the remake that you can do the same thing if you shoot this water.
Yeah, you can. I verified. You can.
I was gonna say my other video game moment is, I don't know if you guys have ever played Wind Waker.
Yes.
But like there's a point where I believe you go under the water and you're at Hyrule Castle under the water, I believe. It's like one of the coolest things ever. I remember like at first I wasn't putting two and two together. I was so young at the time. I was like, what is going on here? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm in Hyrule Castle. Like, I don't know, that was just really cool being underwater like that. And I think Wind Waker is one of the greatest Zelda games all the overall. Best music, story,
I know it's your
look. I
fave.
love the look. I remember everybody made fun of the look of the when it came out, but like I personally love the cartoonish Link look at the time.
I was straight up
I
offended
love
when
that.
Wind Waker dropped. I was straight up offended.
I was excited on the other hand. I'm like, man, another Zelda game. I can't wait. And right after they just made Majora's Mask too, I'm like, this is going to be great. And the combat is like some of the best combat in any Zelda game as well too. I love the combat in Wind Waker.
My first playthrough, I was so wrong about everything. Like, I remember going down, and I'm like, finally, I'm going to be in Hyrule, and I don't have to sail anymore. Like, I was super grumpy going in, and I was like, this is stupid. And then I realized it's only for a small section. I was like, they got this all wrong. And then they made Blades Will Bleed trailer for like 14, or I forget how old. No, I was in college, but I was still probably mentally like a 13-year-old kid. I'm like, they got it so right. And now Twilight Princess, I'm like, pretty good, but Wind Waker, this is a great game. Like, I was so, my entire experience there, I was wrong.
Yeah. I always tell people, go play Skyward Sword or something like that, and then come back and play Wind Waker and tell me which one you like, you know?
Skyward Sword.
Yes, Gris!
Ashley, the only defender.
The only
I know.
person
Okay,
who
I'll say
Skyward.
something. I love the art style of Skyward Sword, the music, and
The
like the
lore
story
is
and overall is
so
great.
good.
But I hate the controls and everything too. I just can't stand the controls.
For me,
Worst speedrun ever.
I loved the controls, but when they remade it for Switch, I re-fell in love with the game all over again. When you didn't have to use,
I re-fell hating it.
I didn't do motion controls, so I had such a great second playthrough.
Well, I was excited because they're like, "Hey, we're going to give you the option. You don't have to play with motion." I'm like, "Oh, this is great!" And it was like the worst control. I'm like, "This is worse than the motion control somehow." Like, how is it even worse?
The beetle is still one of the best items in Zelda history.
Oh, yeah,
the beetle was one of the best. I guess not a weapon; it's an item, but like a tool. But one of my favorite parts of the game. That thing was awesome. To stay on Zelda, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, you do like the weird part. I hated the motion controls until I got to a point where I learned how to use them. I'm like, hey, I actually got better at this, and like there is growth. And then you go back and fight earlier bosses, and you're like, oh, so instead of doing what you think is natural, you gotta figure it out, kind of deal. But
you just get used to it.
With it. It was different.
For me, my top video game moment, I've talked about this before, was in Tears of the Kingdom. I was sitting on, now I did most of my playthrough on stream, but then there was a point where I was like, guys, I'm gonna go back to my regular maker, and eventually, like, I was playing it little bits by little bits, and my intention was to beat the game for the first time on stream. I was sitting on my couch on a Sunday, and I decided I was going to do some exploring. I had already done all the light routes on the bottom, and for some reason, I was like, wouldn't it be fun to see what's going on underneath Hyrule Castle? And I'm not gonna, no spoilers, I promise. I'm not gonna say anything. But I remember, like, you get to endgame, and I had no idea where I was in the game. I was just like exploring, and all of a sudden it was like, you can't talk to your sages, and it still didn't click with me. I was like, oh, weird. Where am I? And I'm just like bouncing around, and I hear the music, and I hear like the orchestral like singing getting louder and louder, and I have chills talking about it right now. But I'm sitting on my couch, and I live alone. I said out loud, "This is endgame. I'm at the end of the game," and I had to make a choice. I was like, "Am I just gonna do this right now, or am I gonna wait?" And I was like, "I've been waiting for this game my entire life," and I just went in and I did end. And I had nothing prepared. I died on phase 2 the first time, and then I had some stuff that I could make food and whatever. And the final phase of that boss and that final fight, like what you see in that, I won't spoil anything, but I remember saying, I didn't deserve that. Like, it was just so good, that final fight. And then I did it again on stream. I ended up beating the game on stream, but that final fight in Tears of the Kingdom, every phase got better, and it was worth every moment I put into that game. Incredible.
Yeah. I think the voice too was it Matthew Mercer, I believe, the voice of Ganon.
Yes.
Oh, he killed it.
Ganon was incredible.
Yeah. It was like from the beginning you see him to the very end. It's just really good. The evolution, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Even though I do feel like Tears of the Kingdom, it's better than Breath of the Wild, but it's only because it's like a DLC to me, and then Breath of the Wild, it's like an extension. I guess, like, I don't know.
Remember when they announced Tears of the Kingdom? I weirdly said this on stream. I was like, if it ends up being Breath of the Wild 2, I'm okay with it because Breath of the Wild was so incredible. Not realizing it was literally going to be Breath of the Wild 2. But they did it so well. And to me, they added so much to make it its own in a little bit of a way. Even though the map's the same, except that it's got it's literally 3 games in one.
So much more to the world, which I like too. Yeah, I just wish there was more to the sky. That's all. Like,
everything I wanted them to improve on in Breath of the Wild, every criticism I could have ever had, they addressed in Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion. So it's just
my only issue ever
game
with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is you become too powerful in the game. Like, after so many shrines, you can't die. Like, I was unkillable at one point. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you're unkillable, I guess. You can't lose.
It's true.
I like the challenge. Like, that's why I like Dark Souls so much, and, like, you know, like Elden Ring and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a challenge. There's no challenge in it after a certain point, you know? That's the only bad thing, I guess.
It's going to be hard to ever go back and play Breath of the Wild. That's why Tears of the Kingdom. Like, if you're sitting there, it's been a while since you played, you're not going to go back and suffer through climbing a mountain slowly. You know,
like, you're gonna want to ascend through everything.
Climbing altogether, and it's all horizontal movement now versus vertical, which is so much more fun and cooler.
I played Breath of the Wild for like 15 minutes, like maybe like a month and a half ago, just for funsies. Everything I saw, my brain was like, "What can I fuse that to? What can I make with that? What weapon can I make?" And then I was like, "Oh wait, that's not a thing." And I was like, "I can't do this."
Some of the ideas I've seen people make in Tears of the Kingdom is great too. That's why I like. It's like there's like infinite possibilities with Tears of the Kingdom too, with some of the things you can do.
Super excited to get like I've avoided YouTube videos of it so far because I've not finished the game like where I'm comfortable saying, okay, show me everything, show me all the lore I missed, show me all the Easter eggs, and then show me the wild inventions. Like, I cannot wait to go down that rabbit hole. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
I will say this, though, for as good as the ending is, nothing beats walking up those spiral stairs and fighting Ganon sitting on the piano. Ocarina of Time, best ending ever, bar none. Okay, what you just said? How was that not your top moment then? Oh, wait, you played it late. I forgot.
Wait, what late?
It's so like almost stereotypical of a villain. You go up these staircases, and then there's just the dude just like playing an evil organ song, and like it's incredible though. Like it's amazing.
I think for me, Majora's Mask too, because of all the chaoticness happening with the moon and everything going on. All of a sudden, you're just in this world. You're like inside the moon or whatever, and it's just quietness.
Yes,
with the creepy kids,
eerie.
Yeah, with all they're just running around. It's just peaceful. It's like quiet. It's like, what just happened? What's going on outside? You know, and there's no Ganon in that game too, which is crazy to me that it's such a great game. There's like games where Ganon doesn't even exist that are great. Like Link's Awakening is another one, right? Like no Zelda, Zelda. No, you know, it's great. Like
those games are wild. I love them. I love in Link's Awakening. Wart is there, so Wart only shows up in dreams in 2 games. Just FYI. Yeah.
I love Link's Awakening. The remake of that, they did such a great job. I'm hoping we get like the Oracle games remade one day. That'd be great, or other games. It'd be awesome.
Shout out to Capcom. Resident Evil, like Capcom, to survive from Nintendo and still thrive and still make great fighting games from what I understand. Mortal Kombat guy, can't afford all games. I would love to be back into Street Fighter. I would. But, you know, for Capcom to still be kicking it where my beloved Konami is MIA. Like, just sell your stuff, Konami. Give it to Nintendo so I can play more Castlevania. You know what? Who makes the Dark Souls games? Give it to them. And so they can just make Dark Souls and then just put Simon Belmont in as the main character and call it Castle. You don't even have to change anything else. I'll buy it and say it's the best game of all time.
Yeah, I've said it before, but Capcom is doing good. They're doing good work out there. And like you said, Konami, I would love to see. I don't know. I think I said it like maybe a couple episodes ago, but I have no faith in their Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that they're doing. I think it's called Metal Gear Solid Delta or something like that. I don't know. Konami, they're just out of the picture at this point. It's pretty irrelevant, and when they do something, it's nobody likes it. And they're picking up their most beloved game. They're gonna remaster it, and I don't know what to expect.
How dare you say non-Castlevania games as their most beloved?
My favorite game actually of all time is made by Konami. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I love Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh yeah, that is Konami.
I love that game. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so weird and different.
It's terrible on Switch, by the way. Don't play on the Switch. I hate the controls.
I'm getting it right now for Switch.
I got it on Super Nintendo. I think I have it on Sega Genesis, and I need
to play it on emulator again because it was terrible on the Switch.
I can't beat it. I get stuck to where I only have one neighbor left, and I always
there's
get to like the third level, and like the first thing they do is bam, kill it, bam, kill it.
So if you don't know, anybody who's listening, in Zombies Ate My Neighbors, if you don't save at least one neighbor in a level, you automatically game over, right? And you want to save all your items for the last boss fight at the very end. There's like a level right before the last boss fight where there's one neighbor and there's a bunch of chainsaw guys running around trying to kill her. And like if you see her on screen for like a second and they kill her, you're game over it immediately. That's where I got the last 2 times I've played, and it sucks so bad because you can get back to that level pretty easily, but you have none of your items, so it's like you can't beat the last boss, which really sucks.
And they do have like the password system too, but it's like they take you back 4
items.
levels and it's you're done.
Yeah.
It's GG.
Yeah.
You don't get any items or anything. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rough. All right. Let's move into one of my favorite parts of the podcast here. We have a section here in our podcast that we will play some voicemails, read some emails from you, our listeners. And we do have a few here. First off, we're going to start with a couple voicemails here. Our phone number, if you want to give us a voicemail, it's 402-915-1082. Call that. You'll go directly to voicemail. Leave us a message. We'll review it, and we might just play it on the podcast here. And also, something brand new is we are now accepting text messages to that phone number. If you don't want to call in and leave a voicemail, but you want to send something, you can just text that number. Again, that's 402-915-1082. Send a text to that number. We'll review it, and it might just be on our next episode here. Right. I do have just a couple of voicemails here. Let me go ahead and get this playing here. And here we go.
Hi, this is a friendly pet dog, and I wanted to know what your guys' favorite colors were. I would love to make bracelets themed on them. It would be such a pleasure to know them. I hope you guys all have a really good day. Much love.
Oh, friendly pet dog.
Friendly pet dog. Yes. Asking
nice.
for our favorite colors. Ashley, what's your favorite color?
Friendly pet dog, you are such a gem. And my favorite color, I'm sure it's a shocker to all, it is pink.
I'm shocked.
Who would have thought? Okay.
Mine personally is green and yellow, I would say. Like any variation of green and yellow, I love the variations of green and yellow. Especially with Mario Maker too, like the color of Mario Maker, that's yellow, right? So green, yellow, that's my 2 favorite colors, I'd say.
From Pittsburgh, black and gold, obligated.
Black and gold.
It's all of our. Every other town gets it wrong. Let's have variety of colors for each of our teams. Oh, the Eagles, they're not red and white. No identity in that city. Steelers, black and gold. Penguins started out blue and something. They're like, wait, we better be black and gold. Steelers, black and gold. Pirates.
What about your basketball? Oh, wait, they don't have a basketball team. That's right.
We couldn't afford a basketball team, I don't think. You know, we work in the steel mills. We don't have enough money to support 4 sports teams. Well, we have 2 sports teams and 1 minor league baseball team.
My favorite color, it's green. Always has been since I was a little kid. Always will be. Green is my favorite color. I can never wear it on stream though because I have a green screen behind me. I should get a blue screen maybe so I can wear green all the time. I don't know.
That's why I tell people all the time we can't wear green and like yellow because
we can't. Neither
conflict. Yeah,
neither work.
Yeah.
Neither work.
But thank you for the
green
email.
Absolutely green.
That was a great voicemail.
Yeah, that was. And then we have one more voicemail here. Let me go ahead and hit play here.
Yeah.
Hello there. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I am calling to ask the legend DanG a question. What would you recommend to a beginning streamer to make this a viable career or a sustainable side gig. Any recommendations or advice for an up and coming streamer or somebody who's been doing it for a while that needs to take it to the next level? See ya.
Well, thank you.
We kind of talked about this a little earlier today, but Dan, you got anything you want to tell the caller here?
Yeah. So the first thing I'll say too is I personally never went into streaming thinking of it as a viable career option at first. I feel like if you're doing it just for the money, you're not going to have as much fun personally. So I think going into streaming as something you want to do and have fun with is the first advice I give to you. Just have fun, first off. Two, if you do want to make it a viable career and you want to, do that, I first thing I would say is don't invest too much money into it. Time can be your best friend with streaming, but money, I would not, because first off, I'll say like there's a small percentage of people out there who make it a viable career. First off, it's very difficult, especially now. It's like since the COVID boom, we call it. Streaming is very, very difficult to make it into a career. But if you are going to try to do it, there are some tips and advice that I could give. Like one, always set a schedule. Schedule is your best thing. Don't get discouraged by numbers. A lot of people go out there and they just look at numbers. Try to ignore numbers, because at the end of the day, you should be streaming for one, I said, to have fun, but numbers can be a very dampered thing. You look over, you see a number at a certain point in your stream, and it can bring the vibe down, so to speak. So looking at numbers can be a very negative thing. At one point, I turned my numbers completely off. Even when I was going for partner, I was just like, I'm just going to keep doing my thing, streaming at the same time every day, streaming the games I love, and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And, I'm just going to still do it for fun at the end of the day. But I think there's a lot of luck involved with Twitch as well. I will say, like, you could be the best streamer in the world out there, and you might not be found out. And, that's just the luck of the draw, I guess, so to speak. But, that's just some tips and advice I can give. If you guys have anything you want to add,
The only thing I'll add is like you said with luck. I mean, there's I think even like on like I've heard Barb even say he doesn't even know how he got where he is today to an extent. Like it's lightning in a bottle, right time, right place, and there is obviously a lot of luck. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it, absolutely, and sometimes the hard work doesn't always pay off.
Yeah,
and that's just the nature of doing the stream, right?
So I will tell you too, sometimes more is a bad thing, honestly. Sometimes if you stream too much, that can be a bad thing, honestly. If you're trying to make it a viable option, viable business option, that's why I try to stop at a certain point during my stream, because eventually there's just there are numbers and there are math into it, but at the end of the day, sometimes like if you stream every day for 12 hours, that could be a bad thing sometimes too. Like sometimes there's too much exposure. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just how it is sometimes.
I always say give people a little time to miss you. Because if you're just there every single day, it's not fresh and it's not new. Having that day off every once in a while, it refreshes everything.
It's also good mentally.
Yes.
It's also good for the mentality of you. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like what you said, going back to making sure that you're having fun. Yes, numbers matter. And if you're having fun with a game and you see it's giving you better numbers, of course, play it a little bit more often. Make that a regular part of your stream. But if you're miserable playing Mario Maker and you're trying to grind for partner, don't do it.
So for me personally, I still enjoy Mario Maker a lot, and that's why I still play it. So my thing is, I like to play Mario Maker for like 3 hours and run on my stream, and then I switch over to a different game that doesn't get as much viewership, obviously, but it'll drop down a little bit. But that's just like giving myself a little breath of fresh air, kind of, and play something else. And I like to have variety occasionally, but as full-time streamers, it's also part of the business that you need to play what makes you the business work as well. So
that's a good point too for full-time people. I mean, this is a business, right? And when you're at work, you do things sometimes you don't want to do, right? Like I don't want to do this, but you know what? It's bringing in the money. So sometimes you do put your head down and you do what you need to do. And sometimes it's like even a game that you still like, but you're not like in love with it anymore, right? And you do it. It's a job. I mean, it's a job. It's not just going online playing video games. I mean, it's a job for full-time people. So, and you got to look at it that way as well.
I would also say, try to make a community out there as well. Going out there and like putting yourself out there in other people's streams, watching them, maybe sub to them if you can afford it. Like, go out there and be in people's streams. Like for me, for the early times, I was in people like Barb's stream and Feeney and other people's, and we became good friends. And rating other channels helps you like in a small way get your name out there as well. And yeah, there's ways to go out there and put yourself out there in a professional way, I should say. Don't go out there and just be like, watch my channel. Don't do that. But
please.
Yeah. There are ways to go out there and do it.
Friends.
Yeah,
make friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps at the end. Yeah.
I can't bite my tongue anymore. Terrible advice all around. Number one thing you want to do, only play Fortnite. Number two, go into Barb and DanG stream and constantly tell them how to do their job and that they're boring you and that they need to play your level. Number three, raid with no one else in your stream 4 times an hour every hour. So don't even stream, just raid constantly. Just raid. And like, that's it. That's the only 3 things you need. You're going to be number 1 quickly. And if Fortnite's not working, make sure you play Roblox secondary, but only if Fortnite's not working. Boom. Partner stream. No, in all seriousness, what you said, I think is super important.
I was about to say, just don't do what Cheese Pop says. That's my new advice. My number 1 rule.
From Twitch partner Cheese Pops.
In all seriousness, don't quit your job and try to be a streamer unless you're ready to not. Like you said, you saved up a bunch of money. For me, I had years saved up before I quit and wanted to make a try of it. And with like,
about a year, right?
The plan was, okay, I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to be impacted financially. So there was not the stress of money to do it. And it was a plan with my wife going. My wife was the actual one that said, like, dude, quit your job and try it. You've been talking about it for years. Yeah. And so for how much guff I give her on stream, I wouldn't be doing it without her.
Also, I was going to say one more thing too. Don't get discouraged too if you get denied for partner. I see people out there like quit when they get denied for partner. I think Xwater got denied, he told me 12 times before he got accepted. So, like,
I got 4.
Denied. Yeah,
wow.
4. It happens. It does happen. I at one point started at 75. I got denied at 100 viewers. So like a viewer average. It's supposed to be 75. I was like, what did I do wrong? But I didn't get discouraged. I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. If I don't get it, who cares? Like, and luckily now, affiliates get almost the same benefits as partner anyway, so it's not a huge difference anyway. Back then, it was a huge difference. I had like 1 emote at the time. I was like 1 emote. And it took me 97 days to get my first emote approved on Twitch. Because we didn't have instant approval there. We all got affiliate at the same exact time. So everybody was getting their emotes out there, and it took me 97 days. Yeah, I had 97 days.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, it took a long time to get accepted with emotes back then. But yeah, just have fun, make friends. I don't think you should think of it as a business until you become full-time though either. I don't think you should be out there and be like, I'm only doing streaming because I want to make money, That's not the only thing you should be caring about. But
and even when you're full-time doing it, if you think of it as a business, oftentimes like the content is worse. It's about having the most fun you can, making sure people are having fun with you kind of deal.
And I always tell people too, even if they're full-time, tomorrow's never guaranteed on Twitch. That's another thing too.
True.
You could go from making millions of dollars one month, even as a big streamer, to making $0 next. It's just how it is sometimes,
Yeah. Don't get too high, don't get too low, because like the good days are never going to be good all the time, and the bad days are never going to be just as bad. Like that was the hardest lesson, because you take it. I turned off numbers a while ago because someone would leave, and now the entire vibe is ruined, as you said. And I'm like, what did I do? What if they just went to dinner? I'm not on Twitch right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, sometimes you have like those quiet moments on Twitch. Even as full-time streamers, we have them all the time sometimes. And sometimes you get discouraged, but you just got to keep. Here's another advice too I'll give you guys actually too. If you're sitting there just playing a game and not talking, that's very bad too. I've seen it happen a lot on Twitch. Make sure you're always engaging. Even when someone's not in your stream and you're just out there streaming to one viewer, always engage too, because if someone comes in there and they see you're not talking or engaging, they might not enjoy the stream. And at the end of the day, you should, 1, be yourself, and 2, be engaging, because trust me when I say I like to talk a lot. So,
and if you happen to not know what to talk about, just verbally, talk about what you're doing in the game.
Yes.
Just what your next steps are, what you're going to do. Yep. And if someone's watching, they might have some input and start chatting it up as well.
Yep. And I will tell you, Twitch is a lot easier when you have a more engaging chat too. I will say that straight up too. That's why I start my 24-hour streams like 1 a.m. usually, because the worst hours are 1 to 5 a.m. personally for me. So I get the worst hours out of the way first.
Smart.
That way I have engaging chat in the evening into the night as well. So
I did that my last 24. I started at 9 p.m. I will do that again for sure. That was so way better than starting at 9 a.m. And then you have to go through 4, 5, 6 a.m. and you are just, it's rough.
You want your, when you're doing a 24-hour stream,
stretch very pop.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want your most, that's when you want the pop to go off. Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you, caller. Hopefully this answered some questions for you. Again, our phone number is 402-915-1082. You can send us a voicemail or send us a text message. Brand new feature available. And it might just be featured on our next episode. We also do have one email, I believe. And if you want to send us an email, it's email@arcadeparlorcast.com. Ashley, do you want to go ahead and read our email today?
I would love to. This email is titled KEKWcast with DanG88. It is sent to us by our own beloved tie-dye Chef Dave. It says, "Hey, y'all."
Whoa.
It says, "Hey, y'all. What is your go-to snack or meal when playing games on or off stream? Love this podcast. So thankful for Dan joining Poncho, Ashley, and Pops this week." Tie-dye Chef Dave.
Dave, you already know what mine is. It's Dino Nuggets. I'm a Dino Nugget person. They should be sponsoring me already, Tyson, out there. I eat so many Dino Nuggets on stream. No. Well, tater tots are all right, but it's the Dino Nuggets. I just love a nice nuggy. Nuggets, and I will say the other thing I like to eat a lot is, like when I'm doing my 24-hour streams, is beef jerky. I like beef jerky.
Oh, smart.
I don't know. Yeah. I always try, so when I do a 24-hour stream, I always try to get snacks that'll, like, grapes are another thing I like. Some kind of fruit. Something that gives you energy as well without, because I don't like caffeine personally. So I don't try to drink too much caffeine. So I like natural energy. So like sugars, like natural sugars from like fruit and stuff. I had a big salad off stream the last time I did it too, for lunch, I believe. Sometimes like a turkey sandwich, something light as well. So, you know, you don't want to be out there eating the one chip challenge. I can tell you that. But, yeah. So I like lighter things when I'm streaming. When I'm off stream though, my favorite food is definitely spaghetti. Spaghetti is my favorite comfort food. I love spaghetti. The best fall food. Oh, I love spaghetti. Spaghetti and chicken noodle soup is another one.
Yum.
Love chicken noodle soup. You know, it's almost that time where we got chicken noodle soup, at least here, not in Florida though.
I know.
What are your thoughts on lasagna?
I like lasagna, but not as much as spaghetti though.
Overrated, right?
Yeah, it's not the best. Like, it's all right. I'll eat it if I have to, but I'd rather have spaghetti.
It's never bad, but it's never like, oh, this lasagna is great. And
I never go out of my way to buy it either.
Right?
Like,
I will never order it at a restaurant. And the worst part about lasagna is when the person the person that makes it is always like, "Isn't it so good? Isn't it so?" There's something about the person that makes lasagna. They're just the worst people.
No, but like for me,
you want to make sure everybody likes it.
Yeah.
For me, spaghetti is super easy to make. Lasagna, it's too much complicated. There's too much complication into it for me.
And then that person has to like let you know how complicated it is.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there fishing for compliments while you're trying to be like, this is okay, but I'm not going to hurt their feelings. So you're going to be like, yeah, this is really good. And then they're like, I'll have to make it for you again the next. And once you have lasagna at a place, that's all they're going to serve you because you're going to have to compliment them because they're fishing for it so much. And now you're perpetually stuck eating lasagna for the rest of your life at your friend's Dave's house. And it's ridiculous. And he's serving you quiche for dinner and it makes no sense.
I will say, Dave, if you're out there and you want to cook something on stream that's like one of my all-time favorite foods that's actually complicated, shepherd's pie.
Oh,
I love shepherd's pie.
Love a shepherd's pie.
I love shepherd's pie.
I love
it's
shepherd's pie.
You can never go out and find it. You can never find shepherd's pie out in the wild though at a restaurant though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I love shepherd's pie though.
You only find them at like Irish pubs.
Yeah.
That's
And we don't
true.
have a
And
lot
they're
of those
incredible
here.
at Irish pubs. They're
they
incredible.
are.
So good. I had one in like Philadelphia the one time. It was like, oh my God, it was incredible. I remember. But yeah, shepherd's pie. I love shepherd's pie. Yeah. I think the last time I had. Go ahead. I was going to say one other thing, but go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish
I was going to say the one thing I was going to say about shepherd's pie. The last time I had shepherd's pie, I had a waitress at pizza bring me shepherd's pie, and she made it personally for me. So shout out to that waitress if she's out there. Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Yeah. I used to love the waitresses out there. They used to make me food all the time. I'm surprised I haven't gained like 50, 60 pounds when I was working there, but yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
For me, I'm a big fan of eating meatball subs on stream.
I knew you were going to say that.
I've at least eaten like 5 meatball subs on stream.
It's a good choice.
Probably like the worst food you could eat on stream. But if I'm doing a 12-hour stream or something long, there'll probably be a meatball sub on stream during that time. So it's
a Jersey
it's probably
Mike's.
the worst thing to eat because you're you're two-handing it, and you can't really like interact with like a game or anything like that. So it's probably not a good idea. But I've eaten probably like 5 meatball subs on stream.
Do you have like a preference of where you get your meatball sub at, or what cheese is on it or anything?
My wife makes them.
Oh, okay. What kind of cheese do you put on it?
I think we just do what's the standard cheese? I'm blanking out on it.
Mozzarella, provolone.
Provolone, yeah, just provolone.
Okay,
simple. Yeah,
that's my favorite cheese.
That's my favorite cheese.
Yeah, provolone's like the one cheese that doesn't hurt my stomach. So
sitting right here, guys, unbelievable. That was a terrible joke. This podcast was going so good. Everything was great. Dan's bringing it, shooting lasers left and right. Great conversation. We're popping back and forth. And then I have to open my mouth on the 3rd hour. Like the end of this, it's all over.
Oh, man.
What's your favorite gaming food, Pops?
I mean, on stream, I try not to eat, but if I do, it's something I can put in my hands. No silverware's the rules. And like I like Dan, beef jerky, chicken nuggets, great. Anything poppable where I don't have, there's no mess, and I'm not a clean person. And so if it has like super saucy or something, it'll get in my beard. I'm too stupid to notice. So I don't need like just mayonnaise everywhere,
For me, my last 24-hour stream, I had pre-cooked myself like protein meals. So I made like eggs and stuff like that. And I just like threw in the microwave. It was super easy. But I very rarely take a break when I'm streaming. Even when I do 12-hour streams, like I remember, I think last one I did, like I ate like some cheese. Like, I don't know, I'll eat it like half a protein cookie or something. But if it's poppable and it's not messy, that's for me.
Nice. Good foods.
Very good. Very good. Good foods mentioned all around.
Thank you, Dave.
Again, if you want to send us an email, and you've never done so before, that's email@arcadeparlorcast.com. Send it in. We'll review it. It might just be on our next episode. It might just be on there. And if we didn't get to it, it might be on the next episode. You never know. So send it in, and we may read it on the air here. With that said, we're pushing time here, guys. I think it's time to start winding this bad boy down.
All right. It's been a fun time. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, DanG, thank you for joining us on October 7th here on our episode 14.
I was a little worried I wasn't going to have enough to talk about, but apparently we went over the time almost, so we did a pretty good job.
We didn't even talk about Mario Wonder, which is huge. We didn't get a chance to talk about the games we're playing. Like
I'm saving that for the next podcast. I'm saving that for the next
right?
That'll be the next.
You are welcome back at any time.
Down the street.
What an honor!
Gotta save something for him.
An honor to have you today, Dan. Really, like we were all so unanimous in wanting to ask you, and really, really appreciate you being here today. It was really fun.
I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad we all had fun.
And Dan, where can our listeners find you?
You can find me, guys, on Twitch. I stream at DanG88 on Twitch. Most of my handles are DanG88, except for like Twitter, where it's DanG88 with an underscore. There's a fake DanG out there. You gotta watch out for that. They never tweeted in their life, but
of course
can't have that handle. It's Cheese Pops. Yeah.
He's holding it down.
But most of the time, I stream every day, 7 a.m. Eastern time, on Twitch. Sometimes I do have a day off occasionally, but most of the time you can find me. I'm like the knockback, the Wish version of Aura. You can find me after Orator is done. I gotta take over for the bald viewers out there.
Right,
the bald fans. But yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Awesome, listeners. If you're not following DanG88, make sure you're following. Tune into the stream. Absolutely. Ashley, what about you? Where can we find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Ashley with 2Es_FL. I stream Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday nights. Sometimes I randomly do 12-hour streams on Saturdays for no reason. A lot of Super Mario World ROM hacks these days. I've been playing Mario Maker 1 while we still have it, and a little spooky content this month as well. Same handle on YouTube and Twitter, which is also called X or whatever. I also put out weekly content on my TikTok. Someone stole my name as well. So instead of _FL, it's Ashley with 2Es _Florida, all spelled out.
Awesome. Pops, what about you?
Cheese Pops, way too many P's in there. So if you can't find me, just add some more P's and you'll find me. I stream like one. Yeah, you'll find me eventually. Maybe not. Probably not. But 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mostly Mario Maker viewer levels. Every now and again, something different. And I like to be the Wish version of DGR. So,
There you go.
how about it?
There you go.
Awesome. You guys can find me twitch.tv/Poncho Taco. Poncho Taco on pretty much everything. Go to ponchotaco.com. It'll just redirect to my Twitch channel. You'll find me there. What do I got going on? I have I don't know. It's October. I said it last time. October is my favorite month on Twitch. Lots of fun games being played, spooky stuff. Right now, I'm going to be finishing up Resident Evil 4, I think, on October 8th at this point, which is tomorrow as we're recording this. Otherwise, I think we're going to be jumping into some more scary stuff. Don't exactly know what, but we'll be doing some more stuff this month. Having a fun time there. With that said, this has been episode 14. Episode 14. We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a while when I think about it. It's crazy. Crazy. DanG, again, thank you for joining us. Awesome having you on here.
It was awesome being here. I'm going to go eat some pork and sauerkraut now.
Nice.
Ooh, that's a good meal. Sauerkraut, the most underrated food of all. I could eat it out of the jar, just straight up. Just straight up.
Here.
But,
Love it.
as Poncho said, go watch DanG. This dude is incredibly good. So humble.
Watch Ashley.
But ridiculously good at the game. He's like, yeah, I beat this level, Just watch him.
No big
It's
deal.
insanity. It makes you feel bad about your own skills in a good way.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate being here. It was awesome. I was worried we weren't going to have enough. I wasn't going to have enough to talk about, but it was a good time. I think we did a good job. Good job, everybody.
Thanks, Dad.
Everybody, give yourself a thumbs up. Even the listeners, thumbs up. Again, right before we go out, if you're listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on whatever platform you are, give us 5 stars. There's a million things you have to do each and every day. We all do. Eliminate most of them and just give us 5 stars. That's all we want. Okay, give us 5 stars on whatever podcast you're on, and that'll definitely help us out. With that said, this has been episode 14. Thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you, listeners. We'll be back with you next month in November. Adios. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.